We're surviving. The guy's on the ship. We take off. He's stabbing things.
I have half my HP.
So, I thought I got healed, but I don't have more hit points.
Okay.
We only got healed a little.
You got healed a little bit.
Oh.
Okay, so stepping
I decided
back
to do
into
damage
it,
to
I'm gonna turn on
cells.
some
That's why you have
ambiance momentarily.
Some momentary.
Oh yeah,
Some
Snake Eyes
momentary
showed up too.
ambiance.
The guy with the weird eyes.
But you're the only one that remembered.
Which,
right?
No, he
Sideways
did.
during
eyelid.
combat,
But he doesn't know he's actually there yet.
Warden hasn't noticed yet. During combat,
So we ended with a big ass
we
combat.
just finished
So
combat.
to go through some of the other things that occurred in the last session, you guys left the Opera Laboratories.
Start recording.
After some other things that occurred, I have not actually done any time in that last one, so I don't know what all occurred. They're like,
Nibs was kind to you.
Nibs was kind to some people, which was
He was trying to make an effort. He
Yeah,
apologized.
he
Not
was
normal.
slightly kind. Most were
Well-
as kind as.
no, he was genuinely kind, just also slightly racist. Okay?
Yeah.
Well, he tried to apologize for his racism, but it made the match.
It irked him. And then I tried to talk about your friends who died.
I said no.
Well,
That's
you
not
gave me a little bit of info.
A very, very little bit. Either way, so after some discussion and some RP in the ship, an alarm started to blare from the Opera Laboratories.
While we were hearing all the shit fly overhead.
While
Yes.
you guys were hearing the ship fly overhead, and you were not but a quarter mile from the Opera Laboratories. So a few things landed on your ship.
Yes.
And after a bit of time, some shadows decided to creep in and check out this new and interesting thing, as they had not seen it before. And when Nikolai decided to activate his Ring of Daylight, incinerated them in said daylight, but also caused a little bit of noise to occur, in which Zareth, holding the door down so that it wouldn't bend as they stepped on it, gets yanked up, and the door is off its hinges, so you guys technically don't have an unopened or a closed area to your hull now, so you have to repair that.
You could say our last session was
Wait,
a
did
little
they
unhinged.
completely rip the?
I hate you.
They completely ripped it off the hinges.
Oh yeah, it is ripped off the hinges. The door was pulled up with Zareth holding on to it, and Zareth was like, oh shit.
Oh, the door won't be that far away unless it fell on the ship.
No, we took off.
I know, but like
It's on the ship.
on the
It's on the
ship.
deck.
There's
So-
a thing called mending.
Yeah, there's a thing
also
called
you have
that,
a
too.
blacksmith
Yeah.
that is also
Yeah.
a forge cleric that can also,
So
I didn't know it was still in the chest.
as soon as
With-
I level up,
yeah,
can fabricate
okay.
anything
Yep.
in existence.
with
within a
the
certain
bodies of 8 creatures still on the boat, you guys, or on the skiff, you guys began to make your way down the road. Zareth kind of took off the parking brake and put on the gas and then teleported back to combat. However, an interesting encounter that occurred during this combat is while Nate was still under the hull, a dude just comes up from the storage compartment, gives him a quick little wink, and then comes up and just starts blasting fools. So anyway,
I started
Make
blasting.
he started
blasting.
blasting.
Just Mick blast.
Mick blasting people.
We're talking Grimace Shake, but he's Grimace.
He is Grimace, and he shake, and he shook, and he shook, very much shook.
More grin than grimace.
Huh?
He's a grin shake. He
That
doesn't
one
grin.
ghoul said happy birthday, and it was Endgame.
Yeah, it was endgame. So, from there, Zareth is attempting to get you guys away from here as much as he can. And now he does not have a way to speak telepathically to you guys. And the flock is passing, but there are still some overhead. So he is still attempting to be quiet. What are people doing in this time?
I've grabbed the most intact of the larger bodies, and I'm gonna go steady it in a corner.
Warden immediately says.
Roll me a medicine check for later.
Do what?
Roll me a medicine check for
Medicine?
later.
Warden says, status
Why was
report.
that?
Are there any injuries?
telepathically.
How's that cocked?
You guys don't hear this.
That's
You
cocked.
two don't hear this.
In the middle. Oh, I just rolled over.
Whoa! Yeah, that was cocked.
Unfortunately.
It was literally cocked
Well,
Sitting
on a
in-
flat surface.
that's
It landed on its side.
Between
and
the 12 and 15, and it fell to 12. And then it fell to a 12 when I started
you should've-
bitching at it.
Yeah.
I think we shook the
Reaction.
table when it fell over.
It did. You should just.
You should just load up the car.
It was cocked.
Frankly, do we throw? So he's upstairs. He's up. You're the only one downstairs. Everybody
As of
else
right
came
now,
down.
yes. No one else has said that they're downstairs.
Yeah, I am still
Well.
upstairs actually. Yeah, I forgot.
Alright, so the strange fella's still.
I just
on the
asked
top.
who needs you.
Tell
Are there
me.
any
He's being
injuries?
quiet.
Claire,
I need,
Claire would like
I
to
need
report.
some health. You hear coming from down in the hold.
There's. I think we're all a bit.
Telepathic right now.
Okay, Nibs is gonna
Yeah.
answer.
I say I need healing, but you don't see me.
I mean,
Okay.
Nibs is going to start chunking corpses. A couple of the big guy that are right by the stairs. I'm just going to roll them down to you, a couple, and then start tossing the others off the ship as we're taking off. And then I'm going to kind of real quick point at as many of us as I can that's up top and gesture back down. There's not light coming out anymore because you picked up the ring and put it in your pocket.
Well, it's flashing. It's just slightly out of his pocket.
But he's in a corner.
Yeah,
Oh,
I'm
wait.
downstairs.
So
as this is going on, for those of you who are top side of the deck, you see this new figure step over to the door that was taken off its hinges and set it back down, hold his hand over, and then pull it open, now reattached.
I'm gonna.
Warden pauses when he's as he was about to begin casting, but pauses for a moment and looks at him like seeing what just happened. And I'm assuming where I was on the ship, what Patch was, his back is to me. So I'm gonna be like, "Who are you?"
Pass without a trace.
Yeah.
Are you going to vocally say who are you?
Don't we have pass upstairs?
I'm
gonna-
It's concentration.
Yeah,
Well,
you cast.
It's telepathic. I know I need to remain silent, but I said that telepathic, but so
you kind of like say it.
But
Yeah.
I begin walking over to him, kind of
I'm going-
cautiously.
I'm going to gesture for the driver. Once I look at the door, I'm going to give him the cut motion and gesture for everyone to go back downstairs. Since the door
Did you
is
say, who are you?
Yeah.
out.
In his mind.
Well, because I don't see his face. I see his back's turned.
Can I just roll like an intuition or something to be like, oh yeah, that's Snake Eyes guy. Back
Go
him
ahead
in
and
the head.
You
go ahead
also
and roll
know
his-
his name.
Go ahead and roll an insight.
Y'all saw his name tag. What was his name again?
No, you went back through your memories and saw his name tag.
No, we saw it in the flashing when I woke up.
No,
the name
we
was not
didn't. We
revealed
just
then.
saw the
The
ice.
name was revealed at the beginning of the last session when you were like, who was that guy, by the way? Can I go back through my memories and check? And you rolled well, but we actually specifically discussed that you had not yet shared that with the party.
Oh
yeah, that's right.
They don't
So you were in fact the only person.
But
who
anyways,
knows
what
it
was
is.
his name again?
Dr. Theus.
Dr.
is what
Theus.
you
I
guys
knew it
called
started. I knew it ended with an S because I made that.
That one was good for me.
Yeah.
13.
Well, my helmet's
13?
still down. He doesn't even know who I am.
Right.
I would say that no, you don't really.
Can't really recognize
I
him.
just
Like,
know
You,
where
you
that
just
is.
hear like a "Who are you?" and you're
Well,
like, "Oh, he's probably talking." to that
Outwardly,
guy,"
I
but
just
you
look
don't
like
yet
very
make the
heavily
connection.
armored.
Your brain's
Big
focused.
person.
Speaking of
Yeah.
medicine check, what was
Yeah.
it?
Did you actually?
15?
We actually talked
So-
about this before you guys joined.
okay.
Uh,
You take your
Because
knife
you can't really see all the.
and
Normal
you just
people
kind of
would
like
have to
cut
be
through the
really,
skin.
really
and you don't really have
receptive
you
to
could
the
have
fact
pulled
that
it
I am
apart.
A,
And it's filthy.
am not breathing.
B. Think of like a
I sound
smoker's
hollow
lung
as I walk.
after like 30
Like, it doesn't
years,
sound-
how it's just like rotten and black
It
on the
doesn't sound
outside
cushioned.
in many regards. That is every bit of slop in this creature's body. It looks rotten and just ready to be disposed of. Like, it is filthy. You don't really find anything of interest. I mean, the blood is acidic, just as that of the Vukars. But it does not have a natural venom to it. There doesn't seem to be anything huge. Go ahead and roll me a history check real quick.
Does anybody go down like I gesture? Does the guy keep driving?
7.
I'm staying on
7.
top deck as long as everyone else is.
You feel like there's a link maybe somewhere in here, but you don't know what it is.
Okay.
So, is anybody else going down below?
I'll go down below.
Zai's going down.
I'm waiting till the last person. I'm holding.
Trek's waiting. Is Nari or Warden going down below right now?
Yes.
Yes.
That's the only thing that
Is the
happened.
driver going to quit driving after I gave him the motion to quit, or is he just going for it?
I mean, Zareth believes he knows better than you about how to survive these situations, so he is not necessarily paying attention to your motion.
So since I wasn't here earlier, when he was driving and we initially go, how much did Nibs pay attention on how to drive?
On how to drive, I would say yes and no. You guys were not driving long. You guys have only been in the fold at this point, including the time in the libraries, for about 5 to 6 hours. So it's not like you've had days to study how to do this. Now, it's not incredibly complicated, but there definitely is some technique to it. It's not too dissimilar to, say, driving a boat. I would say Nikolai doesn't have much sailing repertoire under his belt, but he could probably figure it out if he went up to the helm. It's just, especially in city, there are specific techniques used to keep it quiet that none of you guys would really be able to do. Because you guys are literally cutting through cobblestone roads.
Nibs is just going to try and go knock him out, and then just like start dragging and run us straight into a building.
Nibs is just going to kind of look around, look over you guys, do this number, and walk over to the door and go downstairs. I mean, he's going to think, we can't talk out here. He says, we got to go down below. And they, so people don't know basic sign language.
Go ahead and...
Good fucking grief.
I am closing the hatch behind you.
You're closing the
I'm
hatch.
the last one.
Does the pointy-eyed, or
Yeah, I'm still up there. I'm actually gonna go over to our driver, and I'm gonna give him 5 gold. Be like, I don't have much gold to begin with, though. Actually, it's a lot more.
He's still up.
And then I'm gonna go below deck.
Make the help.
does the other guy stay there? Does he come down after the door?
The other guy is the last man to come down.
And driver stays up.
Driver stays up.
After I'm done looking at the insides, I'm going to study the outsides. Is it 4 limbs with 2 of them being the wings, or is there...
It is 4 limbs plus 2 wings.
4 limbs plus 2 wings.
Plus wings. The wings are separated from the arms.
Okay, never mind.
Just to ask again, how tall is this room underneath the
It is about 6.5 feet.
So I usually crouch.
You have to duck a little. You have to...
I do have to kind of crouch.
I have to stand on my toes.
Anyways, that means I can reach the hatch just by standing without being on a ladder. But I was going to turn and start closing the hatch behind me, and that's when I see the dude coming in and closing the hatch. And I'm just going to pause in front of the ladder and just stare. But my helmet's still on. Because we just left combat, and I'm still in fighting.
Nibs is going to position himself on the opposite side of the ladder, opposite of him. So as he's coming down, he's going to say, "Do we need to kill this fucker?" Mentally to the group.
As you're looking at him, he just disappears, and he's going to appear on the back side, on the bottom, just not wanting to deal with it.
I'm going to swing around.
No, he teleports down into the room because he was on the top. Of
Yeah,
the
I was basically standing right in front of the ladder,
Got it.
and so on a slant, he's just standing there at the top, and he can't get down. But
Question: who the frick are you?
well,
it would be prevalent if we stayed quiet for a bit longer.
as soon as he teleports, I'm going to swing around and to where he teleported to, and I'm just going to slowly walk up. I'm going to quietly grab one of the small crates in the ship and then just sit down in front of him, still helmet on. Just staring at him. Well, I'm about 5, 6, 7 feet away. I'm within range of an attack.
Do you pop your helmet up?
I'm just staring.
You're just staring? Okay.
with helmet down.
Nibs is gonna sigh, look around at everybody, walk over, and just kind of lean up, just kind of cross his arms, and
he doesn't paper out.
yeah.
Well, I canonically do have paper, so if anybody
So-
else...
You canonically have the Gucci paper for 12,000 years ago.
Oh, you do? I have, this is like the most stained paper ever. This guy doesn't drink coffee, but if he
Nibs
did,
is-
it would have the
Nibs
rings
is gonna
around
walk.
it.
Yeah, Nibs will walk over, lean up
Is that
against
readable?
Gordon, reach into his bag of holding, and pull out a stack of papers, sit him down on your knee, which is balances it, and he pulls out a magic ink rod, and he pulls out some ink, and he pulls out some stuff, and he's like, takes a paper, kind of makes
You
it.
kind of like give him a side eye.
No, I'm just. No one's listening. No one's paying attention. No one's. Nibs just kind of like
Well,
folds up
you
one
gotta-
of the papers
you
and
gotta remain
throws it
quiet.
over across the room to you like airplane style. And he's got like a quill sitting on top inside. So he tosses it over and he hands you a paper and then he hands the guy a paper and then he looks at Warren. Warren.
Oh, you hand the guy a paper?
Yeah, I just hand him a piece
As
of
you
paper.
hand him a piece of paper, he's like, you all hear in wise. If we must discuss now, I guess we can do it here.
And you just throw the paper to the air, walk
hear
over to
it in our
Nate. Nate,
Telepathic.
look
Okay,
at
so
look at
we
you
don't
for
hear
a
this.
second, and then walk
No,
over
you
to
hear
your
it.
wife.
Oh, he is
who's
speaking
asleep
to
and
all of
just,
us telepathically.
just gonna roll.
It's
I'm
just
just
one
gonna
way
lay
to get
down
telepathically.
around
Oh,
it. Just kind of.
Also, you guys hear telepathically. What the fuck? As you hear Zareth speaking as he's guiding the helm.
I'm just gonna say, who are you?
I'm gonna be like, huh? Snake Eyes got some tricks up his.
Yes, you can. You're writing notes to me.
Love letters.
But this is just, it sets the scene a little bit more, you know? To write it out. Except that's what you see.
Okay. So, Warden. You ask.
I say, for all of our sakes, who are you?
I am Prometheus.
You said something, didn't you?
I said, yeah, that's Snake Eyes dude. You know, from your head.
I'm gonna just kind of look back at him, and then look back around. Say, how are you alive?
That is a very, very long story.
Nibs is
We
gonna
have
think
time.
really loud. Yes. Probably got stuck in one of the bloody stasis rooms, and when somebody tripped on the alarm, it unlocked it for him. It's like, he goes, either that or he's older than one of the gods.
Since
You are
I'm
both incredibly correct and incredibly wrong with your statements. I was not locked in a room in the laboratories. I've more been locked in the fold itself. He's a
Warden.
Don't be stunning at us, bitch. We just want to know what the fuck you're doing here.
I think like there's a key thing that I haven't
Open your.
done. I literally just look like dwarvish armor head to toe, but I'm like glass.
Look, I do not know you, nor do I necessarily have any comprehensive reason to trust you. However, you are the first people to have entered Yathra Laboratories for a very long time. And those alarms are still linked to my mind. I was curious.
So you just hear it going on enough.
I have turned it off at this point.
Where your friends up here at the top of the stairs.
Thank you.
We won't stop making noise. Isn't it on the lock screen?
It's on the lock screen, and there's a
Just gotta
play
look at
button right there, yeah. It's my father, though.
Thank you, Dad.
Sometimes it doesn't work.
Alright,
So,
I'm gonna say,
Warden
response to
is.
that?
I'm gonna say, well, and just give him 5 gold. Yeah, thanks for helping out. You're
Why-
just
why-
as great.
why
you
are you
look at
giving
that?
people
I'm just
5
walking
gold?
outside
Stop
the
giving
room.
people money.
As
It's not much, but.
so you guys all see, he just tossed the coins in the air, and a little like ghastly orange hand grabs them and very calmly just sets them back in your pocket. You don't realize as you're stepping away.
I can't roll.
Wow.
Can the rest of us see
I
that?
can't roll insight.
It's passive perception.
Passive
And
perception.
he beats your passive perception with sleight of hand.
Nice.
Nice.
Well,
Nice.
Okay, so I don't lose 5 gold, but I think I do.
Do the rest of us notice?
Yeah, you all see this hand but just put the gold back in his pocket.
Can I give him a little nudge?
Warden is going to.
So said ice cream.
There should be spoons by the places. The scoop? No, not God. Okay?
That's my fortune.
You can go get your own spoon.
Oh my
I'm
goodness,
going to
that's
get
a good ice cream.
Yeah.
What's my
Where's my blood pressure?
Warden is going to say,
172. Experimentation is.
Slice of life.
It's my 2 weaknesses. You got.
The biggest thing
Brownies?
about it is you just gotta follow portion sizes. Like,
Logan doesn't have portion control.
I mean, if I'm gonna kill myself, do it right.
Exactly. I will drive you to the hospital if you need it.
No.
it's gonna break. Unless it's really been thawing.
You
It
could,
has been thawing for a while.
you could use the scooper. The brownies.
I got it.
Okay.
anyways,
It's my 2 favorite.
You already
It was required.
Warden says, I appreciate your aid during our encounter with those in the fold. However, what urged you to board our ship?
I already said, curiosity. Nothing has entered Yathra Laboratories for a long, long time. The security measures alone, just to enter the facility, are quite extensive.
How much do you know of this place?
As much as one can.
So you're one of the old fuckers we saw on TV.
What
We
is...
don't know.
We don't know. We don't even know what half the stuff in the laboratory is called. Okay.
Make your illusion
We
design
do,
this
but our characters don't. Like, our characters don't know the keypad was a keypad. We just know that it had buttons.
Right.
You're the fucker we saw on the video.
Okay.
Oh.
One brownie.
The wall vision.
No. Warden still has not revealed his face, so...
Correct.
We know your name though, right? We know
Warden
he's
does, no one else does.
No.
Well, you all know Asix, you do not know the doctor's name. Well, you know
But
Prometheus.
we know that he is A6.
So
Going to make
I'm
a
just gonna
decision
keep.
in
I'm just gonna
my
keep playing this out, but I'm going to
Moving
pull out the note from Dr. Bobberman's desk that obviously has like the notepad, his name, handwriting, things like that on it, and I'm
Okay.
going to say, "Do you know what Dr. Bobberman?" Without showing the paper yet,
Cards.
Yes, I know him quite
Who
well.
are you tracking?
999.
and then I'm going to show the paper, and then I'm going to like,
That
look
way
at
I can
Dr.
know.
Bobberman's name's
I
on it.
have a lot.
What do you know? Like what happened?
That is information for once I know
My name is Warden.
you. Go ahead and
My
Can I
robotic
spoil it?
voice. No, stop. My robotic voice. You do realize this guy is like, he was in our vision. He caused the fold. Played a hand in causing the fold. We gotta take this precautiously.
Well, they're doing that. I'm gonna go down and explore the little thing.
Yeah, I didn't know about the lower hole.
Okay, so the lower hole is pretty much empty. However, there is a there's a lot of runes specifically because the axle of the ship that digs into the ground to glide you is set inside. It comes up. It's about a 1 foot by 2 foot, just like iron rod sticking up that has a plate that goes out 3 feet in each direction with some huge bolts going into it, just to really solidify the machine, along with some runic signs in there. There are a few boxes of storage and crates, but you kind of get the idea it's just like rations that don't spoil easily, and some extra repair tools and like planks to put it back together. That's about all that's down here.
I'm gonna look around and see how he got into it.
There seems to be no active sign of how he got down there.
Most of the time you have to see what you're teleporting to. Not always, but at least as far as my characters.
Not if it's 9th level, he can teleport anywhere in existence.
After that 7th level, but
Yeah.
Okay, well,
At
okay.
7th level, I'm able to do that. Okay, within 3 feet.
no 7th level spells. Teleport, these spells.
No, not level
Oh, it's a
7.
7th level spell.
7th level.
Oh, 7th
So
level.
13th level characters.
Okay, got it. Not a 4th level spell. Got it.
Every 2
I
levels
do
of a
too.
character,
I
you
find
get
the
the next
magic-
level spell.
In fact,
See, if someone had just explained
So
it like that.
At level 6, I have access to 3rd level spells, but at level 7, I get that, like,
Access to 4th level.
4th level spells.
Level
7,
7
8,
don't equal the same
9,
levels.
10.
Yes.
No.
Either way, let's continue.
which is stupid for me.
Anyways, so what did he just say again?
He had just said that pretty much that's privileged information about Dr.
Okay.
Hoffman.
Well, hey man, we'll share what you share.
I
Sharing,
highly
sharing, children.
doubt that you have information that would near order the level of information that I have. You're the one asking all the questions here.
I respect shit.
You said shit quite a bit, actually.
Nibs is
Your
just
profanity levels are
Quite accurate.
nearly absurd.
When I get back up and I hear him
Oh.
kind of bitching about not offering him shit,
As-
I'm just going to hand him one of my special remedies.
He takes it. You see him, his eyes glow for a second as he identifies it.
Identify point.
And you see his jaw unlatch entirely, and he throws it in and instantly swallows it.
Oh boy.
Oh.
And he's just keeping eye contact with you the whole time. And then he blinks.
That or he just purified it. He
I
makes
say, ah, damn it! Pull my hair like
purified
this.
brownie.
I am
Did you see him
not
blink again?
Yeah.
Nibs is
No, it's freaking
Nibs is just kind of like you said, sitting down by the wyvern, just in the corner. And he's like, so, let me see if I got this straight. You're curious about us because we're the first fools to come in and get into the facility. So you decide to pop in and visit because we're interesting to you. But yet, we're insignificant enough for you to answer our questions, and yet you haven't asked any questions of us. So you just want to stare at us like bugs in a jar because we're worthless to you. Besides curiosity.
not incredibly far off. You are quite insignificant in comparison to the fold. I was merely here to spectate, but honestly, it looked like you were getting swarmed, so I thought I could step in and help out, and yet I have not received thanks other than your friend attempting to give me a measly amount of gold that is worth nothing in this place.
I did say that. At least I
I
tried.
offered you a treat.
It was quite scrumptious. However, I will have to say, it will have to be far more potent to affect my kind.
He's a snake.
Anyways.
I didn't think it was poison. I thought it was like weed.
I'm gonna
Equivalent
actually.
to like
It's got opium,
If
Mary
I
Jane,
left
and
and
chocolate.
chocolate drinking.
yeah, it's got all the
Nibs is going to
I see shit.
look over at you and it's like, how's your little one doing?
How's my harpy doing?
Your harpy is dead.
That's what I thought.
You just went over and looked at your heartbeat.
No, it's not my back.
That's okay.
I'm gonna
So
pull-
one of the strikes that missed on you did break the heartbeat.
Does it still have
I'm gonna bring it over to Prometheus. Oh, that's weird. Switching between and Prometheus. And I'm just gonna hold up the heartbeat. Is it worth reviving? Yes, dead.
I have so many questions, and I have no clue how to ask them. How do you get a infant hop?
Eggs.
That is fair, I
Eggs and
guess. Did you kill its mother?
We might have it. It's totally possible, but it just weren't there. So we burned down the nest and stole some heartbeat. And I think he ate it on the nest. It's a little freaky.
Did you at least cook them? They are
Don't ask me questions.
dangerous
We don't
in
wanna
the long
know.
term, in a physical
You're
sense.
telling me Zareth has just been listening to this the whole time.
Zareth is listening
He has no clue what he is.
and he has absolutely no clue, like, the body language of the conversation, so he's just driving up, like,
Is he headed out of the fold?
huh?
Is he just headed out of the fold?
No.
He's just heading for the safe
Not as far
area.
as you guys know,
No,
but
he's
he
heading-
definitely is hearing what's going on.
What? Oh, wait. Sorry, what was your question?
Is he driving out of the fold since it's only like a 5-hour trip? You said we've only been here like 5 hours now.
I know, he's driving to a safe location.
He's just driving away.
Did it die a minute ago? Or has it been more than
I
that?
would say it's been more than a minute at this point. You guys kind of
We've been
held
talking
up
for
a
a
little
few.
bit up top.
No,
So what was
I
the
will not
question he asked
verify
next about
your
why did I
report.
eat it, or what did I at least cook it?
No, did you at least cook it first?
I was trying to tell him not to ask the question.
It's like,
The bacterium inside of them can cause quite deadly diseases.
it's like, oh, I mean, it's a matter of, he's like, oh, it depends on what you mean by cook. It's like, he says I had fire in my throat at the time, so I ate, it's like, he goes, I'll walk over to you and just like, okay, should I do a sleight of hand, see if I just take it from him and eat it before?
Don't you dare.
How old
So
are you supposed
here's
to
the
be?
thing: it's strapped to his back. You
405.
can't really just
I
slide it
took
away.
I took it around to here.
Yeah, he's holding it out in front of him. Can I just walk up and just like try to take it? Since he's a no.
I mean, you can. I would
Is
say
it
honestly.
athletic?
What? I have been wary of
You
him.
two are like the same height.
He's a lot stronger.
That would be an contested strength check.
Okay.
Okay, but he is also
Acrobatics
wearing
because
the
I see him
belt
coming
of
up. I've been wary of him, as it's been said.
Here's the thing: you can bring it over here, and then he's just gonna grab you, spin you around, and then take it from you.
You do realize
Like, acrobatics is
he
not
can
what
carry
you're
you with like one hand now.
What?
Is it? Is
Because
this
he has
something
a
that I
giant
can see?
strength belt.
No, this. Yes, you
Can I roll to shove him out of the way?
I'm just
like
walking. I'm
to
walking up. You're
We're
standing
trying to
there.
not
Push him to the ground.
I'm definitely walking
I
away
am
from him as
also
he hears
pissed
my
that he ate my heartbeat, so I don't want him to eat it.
You wanted me to kill the
out of
heartbeat.
spite. And be like good about it. Like you were gonna like gently kill it and bury it and not eat it alive.
Do you want
I
to
wasn't
see
here.
circles around
I
me?
wasn't. No,
I'm just gonna say they've all been bickering with each other for a while now.
You all hear a very, very forceful presence just say, "Stop!" And all of you just like kind of inherently, almost like when you're a child and your mom or father just scream at you to stop, you just all freeze for a second. And then Prometheus, you see, had actually like raised his shoulders almost 2 feet tall. A shadow had been lengthened in the room. The lights had all gone out and you guys didn't realize. And all that begins to fade back to normal for a second. He's just like, how is this group of bickering children the first people to step inside Yafir Laboratories in well over 10,000 years?
Yeah,
Warden, well, did you just say that?
I just gestured.
Warden, who has literally just been looking at him this whole time with his meltdown, not really paying
Yeah.
mind, because he knows that they're all, well, that one's a little crazy, and these ones like to feed his craziness. Anyway.
It's entertaining.
I just walked up alongside you, and he's like, "Ah!" And
I imagine I'm just running around for me.
I'm not gonna shoot you.
right after he says that, Warden just kind of just broadens his shoulders, just sits up straight, and is like, "What happened to Dr. Bob?"
So, Prometheus begins casting a spell. It does have verbal and somatic components, so if someone wants to try and interrupt it, you can. It does not seem aggressive, though.
Well, someone used all my spell slots.
Warden, since it is a verbal somatic spell, is going to grab his hand to stop him, and then just say one word spell here. Just a moment.
As soon as you grab his hand, you find the point of his spear under your neck.
And Nibs is on his
And,
Nibs is behind him.
hold
with his
on.
claws around his throat.
Hold on.
Yeah,
Hold on.
instant.
No.
Nibs walked up.
Yeah.
He
As
was
soon as he launches his spear, my
He's
right.
not attacking you.
I know,
He is holding it.
As soon as he holds his spear, my right arm automatically like unfolds, and the claw just extends outward.
Okay. He smiles, and Nikolai, you hear, a little quick on the draw.
Yes, you are a fucking.
fight. I
Anyway.
guarantee you.
Oh, we didn't want it. You're the fucker who showed up, came to our house, and started fucking with us.
This is my home and has been for 14,000 years. You are the disturbance here.
You gonna say your word, or like start cutting?
Hold on, can I just like find the spell I was about to cast?
What are you trying to cast here?
It's just a verbal one. I'm just gonna use one word.
Yeah, Trex just kind of there. Yeah.
And it just casts Aura of Vitality.
Okay.
I'm just gonna start healing everybody.
Like freaks out, starts healing.
And I'm
Goes
like,
back to
I'm
baseline.
literally trying to.
Oh, no, I
I'm
killed
trying to drop the the intensity in the room, but I cast a healing.
I'm gonna,
Yes, hold on. What?
to confirm, we all heard the name A6.
Yes.
Okay.
Vision.
No.
I would like to ask, what does the name A6 mean to you?
And he
Warden's
continues
going
his
to
smile
look.
going from Nikolai to you. And say, well, there's the means.
Bag of beans.
Oh, yes.
Someone spilled the
I'm right there. Arm goes over his head. He goes in the bag of holding.
He goes in the bag of holding.
I'm done with this fucker.
As you are attempting to
No, I already got him here.
Yes, you already have that.
And he
To
has his
activate
spear
the
on
bag of holding, it takes an action.
Okay.
So,
And
you're doing that in a reaction.
We're just trying to ask a question, bitch.
He's being a dick. And no.
He has not been a dick.
Yes, he has.
He was attempting to cast a non-aggressive spell and was grabbed aggressively. And
Well,
then put in a
Actually,
threatening
I would
stance.
like to say that I just kind of just reached out and grabbed
No,
it.
you said you
No, you
grabbed
said
it.
I grabbed his hand. There's a complete
Yeah, I
difference.
didn't say that.
I
I
forgot
just
to-
I
I forgot
forgot
to-
I'm backing you.
Yeah.
completely.
Man, I really forgot to
As-
clarify there. I was like, I was
as
just
he
reaching out and
hears
gently grabbing his hand.
an
Everyone just thought I
activation.
was doing something aggressive.
He disappears from your grasp, and he appears sitting on a box right beside Mikhail in the corner, right next to this thing, and a chair has appeared with him. And he sits there, crosses his arms, crosses his legs.
Oh, fuck this.
I just glance up at him and I
That's
just start
very nice.
very like casually like slow.
I'm gonna say it.
golf
What does the name
No,
A6 mean
okay,
to
hold
you?
on. Hold on. Now, he's behind me, alright?
Yeah, he is behind you. You heard him reappear.
Okay.
You also hear me very lightly
Clapping.
golf clapping.
Go clapping.
I'm gonna go.
I'm gonna retract.
Sit in the forest a second.
My helmet retracts, but I'm kind of just sitting like that because he
Yeah.
disappeared behind me.
You were like, where did you go?
And I'm going to just kind of quietly say, it's like, little one, stand down.
Alright. Sure play. Got your back.
I'm sitting
Warden
to my
stands
heels on the
up.
other side.
Warden stands up and he just slowly turns around and looks Prometheus in the eyes and once again asks, what happened to Dr. Bobberman?
Go ahead and roll a persuasion check. I know your persuasion stats. You can do this with advantage.
Where's my...
Dice? The dice were the best.
I think I don't know. I just have a feeling.
Can I hold Dispel Magic?
Can you hold Dispel Magic?
Yeah.
So yes and no. Technically, you can only hold a spell for 1 round, and if you do not use it, you lose it. Is
Can I
how?
use the slot?
Yes, it still absorbs the slot. So
So 6 seconds.
so you have 6 seconds to hold it, unless you lose the slot.
I didn't know. Okay.
That is rules as written. I've contemplated changing that, but as of now, I'm just gonna stick with it.
Okay. So basically, can't do a reaction unless I'm
Got to
willing
roll
to lose
it.
it.
Yes.
I'm the whole reason this whole thing's been drawn out, by the way.
Do you wanna
Very
roll
much so.
one of my 3 minutes just roll well?
Yes.
I'm not gonna get to level up.
Sorry, but I've got to do this. Shit.
Alright. With advantage here.
That's an 11.
Go for it, Nick.
And 16, but what is my bonus? 0.
0.
I was like, wait a second.
Okay. With a 16,
He doesn't have intuition.
I'm huh?
No, I use that. There we go.
With your 16, again, just sitting back, you all almost get a sense of like nostalgia, but also a sense of, the best word for it is like secrecy. Just not being comfortable. And he again, towards you, Warden. Dr. Vogelman is still alive. Just like some others.
See, that's why he said he knows him, not knew him.
Yes. At least someone can understand it. She kind of looks over to you, looks at the dead pile of muck, and like, it's just disgusting him, and he prestidigitation, and like, puts it in a clump, and a glass box appears, and it all just goes in there.
Moving
It
my
will
heartbeat.
re-extend if you want to look at it later. That's... Oh, it makes me want to vomit.
Interesting. We'll just take the little glass box and stick it in my
Okay, yeah, you can do that.
Thanks.
Nibs is completely covered in shit.
Yes, he is. He
Oh.
doesn't care about people being disgusting.
Yeah.
His boots were about to get nasty.
Yeah.
He don't
Yeah, I was gonna say. So it's Nibs. Since you turned around and looked at him, he's gonna reach in his bag, holding, pull out a jar, and start kind of scooping it off, put a lid on it, and set it on the back of the box. I'm just gonna start doing that.
Yeah, because one of your attacks that killed literally went up through the creature
Yeah,
and
I'm
then
just
smashed it down.
putting the lids on it just because I know it's toxic. It's
Toxic, yeah.
And so I'm like, as I get him, I'm just gonna toss him over my shoulder towards you. Because
Probably catch all the glass boxes. Things start flying.
yeah, well, I'll throw one back to you. It's a pretty, it's a decent throw.
As you guys are doing that, Warden,
Yes, as soon as he said he's alive again. Warden pauses for just a moment while the silly gooses are doing their things. What happened to the relic orb? I mean, let me rephrase. Clearly, it was used.
well, obviously.
But what happened?
That's a bit of an interesting story. Pretty much what occurred is the schism began. There were many, many things that occurred. Very political. It would take me far, far, far too long. And very complicated either way. some things went down. Gods, primordials, and the like, with their connections to cities. When an aggressive maneuver was made by one, everyone saw it as the time to drop their bombs. Not necessarily literally. A few cities actually do have that capability. But bring out the big guns, to say. Esius had one. And that was the Fold. However, there were many underlying issues with it, and some unexplained phenomena that occurred once it ignited. The radius, someone messed up on the map, and it was somewhere around 1,200,000 times the size it was supposed to be. It was not supposed to extend as large as it has. It was supposed to nuke maybe a building, a city square, maybe a full city, depending on the situation, but not a sixth of the continent. And along with that,
It's a lot of zeros to fuck up.
magic at that level is confusing at best, and at worst, catastrophic. We were messing with spells far above 10th level, and that sort of rituals are easy to mess up. Either way, some other occurrences, being that of everlasting life for those inside, along with an immediate transformation into monsters of all those killed by the initial blast. Among other things, any inside the Fold when it exploded could not leave. Ask why I am still here.
Nibs is just kind of, he's got the loop off of him, so while he'll climb up behind you, just kind of crawl up on your shoulder, sit down next to you, and just kind of pat your shoulder as you're listening, and kind of just more like I'm here as you're taking this info in.
Okay.
Yes. You can't leave. I could not leave if I wanted to.
So if we put you in a bag holding like he tried to do, you would die. Is that what you're saying?
Yes. Well, I technically do not know. I have tried many times to teleport, and many others have attempted teleportation spells outside of the Fold. None of them have worked. Even traveling to other planes of existence, we are still locked in a certain radius around the teleportation.
So your mathematician really fucked up.
It was more than just a mathematician. But again,
Yeah, all you smart people with your big ass words and yeah.
the hilarity of that is I've measured you, and you appear to be cognizantly the highest of intellect.
I'm getting a little scared now. Can I just whisper under my breath, trying not to communicate with him? Can you hear me?
You see a smirk. He doesn't look at you, but you see a smirk kind of pointed in your direction.
In that case, I'm gonna
At
write.
this point-
I'm gonna write down a piece of paper, not show it to him, that says, "Can you hear me?"
The grin gets wider.
Basically, the god.
No, gods are way more powerful.
Well,
He is very powerful, that is for sure.
in that case, is he trying to read my thoughts? Because there is a specific thing that he was going to try to deceive him about that.
What are you attempting to deceive him
I was going to try to communicate
Yes.
with.
on? This is arcane encounters. You haven't seen many, but
I was going to try to communicate with Nikolai without him knowing, and it was going to be about deceiving him into thinking our colors off.
You know Druidcraft behind the side language. You could turn sideways and sign to if you wanted. Where I couldn't see it.
But if he can glean what I'm saying from just writing it,
Yeah, that's.
But even so, what's the
Would
problem
you
with
say
that?
that enters your surface level thoughts?
Should I roll to make sure that that idea pops in and he doesn't see it? Or
Go ahead and roll me a. We'll call it a wisdom saving throw.
thank you.
So real quick, Zai. What is Zai thinking in this time?
I'm just kind of sitting back and processing everything. I don't know that I trust this guy, but I am definitely more inclined toward working with him than I think the rest of the party is.
Okay.
I'm a little bit more on the side of this dude just showed up and like helped us kill him, or helped us stay alive.
Track, what was the wisdom saving throw? Sorry.
If I don't get advantage, because I get advantage on magic saving throws,
This is not magic.
then it is a 7.
It is a 7. Okay. Nikolai, what is Nibs thinking?
Well, Nibs is pretty fairly well learned in different things. As soon as the telepathic stuff started coming, he's been doing things like the story of Root to Pie is donuts. Donuts go into the shredder. Shredder goes into. He says the application just complete and utter gibberish. Like you would look at it if you could. It's whatever shit he can think of that is so stupid and boring, and that's just what he's running that at his surface level. And it's like if he digs deeper, he would. Nibs is constructing a psychological block wall where he is putting each of those words. He's visualizing techniques.
He's not digging deeper at all,
yeah,
and none of you guys sense anything in this regard.
Right, but as soon as everyone can hear,
You're like, I don't trust that.
Nibs is like, I know we're in for it.
How about Mikhail?
He's debating on asking him if his Dr. Vauberman mask is very good or not.
Because you are still Dr. Bobman, that is true.
No, I'm not still him. I just have like the ability to be.
That is
because I am
true.
a Brooklyn currently.
Nari.
I'm partially curious who started the whole conflict between the gods and the primordials and such. Kind of thinking about that.
Something meaningful.
Well, also because of like stuff in my backstory and
Yeah.
the primordial part of that, and yeah, that's the main thing. And also thinking like, yeah, this guy is really SMRPC and he's trying to be shit. He's not really doing good. Even though I'm being a shithead, like outright, I'm just yeah.
Yeah, I've already resigned to the fact that he's way too powerful for us to do anything to.
Yeah.
And so
you're just kind of
I'm
like,
just
I'm
already,
Ronnie.
I'm enjoying
just
being
already,
a lot like a
completely moved on with life. Like I'm over it at this point.
I kind of enjoy being like annoying to him, like in the slightest. Because I also realize I'm significantly inferior to him, so if I can annoy him, we're all good.
So,
Anyways, sorry. I'm back.
No
What
problem.
I missed.
so we just described what people were thinking.
Yep.
What is Warden thinking?
Warden. Warden is.
I have osteoporosis.
I am good.
I'm gay.
Warden, he just kind of opens his hands.
No.
No.
I was saying you guys were doing it, sir. You're doing it like a.
We were doing this.
You were doing an AA meeting, basically, and I got done.
Now, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Yeah, that's.
Wait, who's the people that?
It just dings something.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Warden, so for a moment, Warden just kind of looks down at his hands and then just
verbally thinks, why?
Nibs is gonna go quiet, just completely quiet in his mind. Pat you on the shoulder again, and think to you. He knows everyone's gonna hear it, but he's gonna go.
Well, you guys saw like
Yeah.
the final memories before I woke up
It's
in
like-
the dawn.
They betrayed you once. They can't hurt you more than that one. They already betrayed you. They can't do anything worse than that to you. And he's just completely concentrating on you. You'll be fine. We'll get through this.
As you say that to him, you hear specifically to you two. Betrayal incentivizes those loyalty in the first place. We were creators. He just happened to be the one that could be manipulated without even the slightest representation of defense due to technological capabilities of the time.
Yeah.
Warden is going to.
Imagine an inferior group of beings. I can sense that you somewhat dislike others of different types.
Is he talking
He's
about-
speaking to Nibs and Warden, right?
Yeah.
Only.
He is.
Yeah.
Nibs is.
And imagine the lowest of the low gaining the capabilities of a fully fledged dragon. We had to stop that. I believe even you can recognize that.
Do I get the sense that there's some sort of like
Oh, he is like
Making.
beaming down Nibs right now.
But
Nibs
they're giving me room to think about.
Nibs is gonna kind of grin and go. This Pat Warden, and he's gonna just say it quietly this time. He's like I said, I can't hurt you more than I already did. You've already been through it. You'll be fine. He looks at him, and he acknowledges with a cock of his head. He gets exactly what he said, but you can't see in your peripheral the head motion he gives as an acknowledgement. It's a slight one. But he acknowledges the point, but he's still addressing
Yeah.
Warden.
Warden is going to say, well, in this telepathic triangle going on. Or actually, no, just everyone hears it. But Warden is going to say, was it betrayal if I never understood at the time?
You had no loyalty to us, and we had no loyalty to you. You were created by creators that were created.
This is go out to everyone now.
At this point, this is going out to everyone. You were made to create, and that was your life's existence, and you enjoyed it. Basics. You were made to make, and you served your purpose. And when it became time, as all things have a time to come to an end, it came. I was not a part of that decision. I will have you know.
Insight check?
You can roll insight. You guys have not rolled insight at all, and he's been dropping a lot of shit. So
Oh yeah, because I didn't believe anything. 23.
Can I also roll an insight?
Oh,
23.
wait, is it? Yes, 23.
Yeah, you can roll. Any of you guys can roll insight.
14.
What do you roll?
23.
23.
I
Yeah.
Insanely powerful creatures in my travels that I just don't really care. And I take it with a grain of salt anyways.
Oh yeah, I haven't believed anything this
All of you guys, so Nibs, you're always incredibly cautious when it comes to these sort of people giving you any sort of information. You do not sense a lie, but you, just due to your paranoia, believe it's not full truth. Now, I will say, you don't believe it's a lie.
It's a half truth.
Well, even then, it's not really technically you. It's more like just in the situation, you're like, he's probably telling the truth. But your paranoia in your backside is your doubt.
Yes.
It's your character fault that's what's confusing you here, not the role.
Okay.
So, with that, he continues. It was not worth the risk due to what you had worked on. In fact, I think this conversation, speaking to everyone, would be a lot better if you were a little more informed and I didn't have to do so much talking. And as that happens, you all feel the skiff come to a halt. And he gets up from his chair. We can reconvene for more conversing tomorrow, after you take a look at some other sections of the city. I have, may or may not have convinced the driver to take us somewhere where you can get a rest. It might not be as restful as some other places, but it will definitely be better than in the skiff.
Do we have a choice in the matter?
You have a choice, of course.
Yes.
However, out here, you are likely to have to deal with the shadows.
It's like suicide is always an option.
While you are inside the city, the lost souls have become shadows that creep around. Well, let me look up the place to make sure I know what it's called. Why can I not find it in my notes? In the Marianum Tower, you at least will not have to deal with the shadows. You may have to deal with another lost soul or two, but other than that, it should be fairly restful for the most of you.
We're just gonna kind of nod in agreement and look around to see what everybody else is doing.
By the way, how much, since I've revealed my face, how much time has passed?
A couple minutes.
Okay. So every 6 seconds, for up to 1 minute, I can send 2d6 to somebody of healing.
I think so.
What is everybody's age
Just,
gap?
just
27.
I think
24
out of
51.
That's a good one. I'm 24 and 45.
34 out of 40.
24 out of 31.
It just means
14 out of 46.
So as Prometheus stands up, he just kind of looks over, and he's going to real quick step over to
yeah, he cast the spell.
you. You have been healing. I don't think you'll be able to top everyone off though.
No, I know, but
But he does step over and he gives a healing spell both to Trek and Nari. We're not going to talk about the numbers because it won't matter.
Just all the way.
I will say over a minute.
Over a minute, I will say everybody can technically go to full HP. You do not a long rest, but full HP. Considering he casts 2 5th level heroes, I would say that probably gets at least you both most of the way to full. That can be topped off.
Okay, so Nibs is going to think, not say. Drop his barrier and think as he stands up. His tone of voice, his tone of thought, everything is completely different. He is just, this is, pushes it up to the surface only for him to hear. And it is, he goes, I am an emissary of, he goes, one of the most powerful knowledge bases outside of this, outside of the fate. And he's going to throw up images and different things of the school, their power, their knowledge, their resources.
Is he thinking of?
He's not thinking to you guys.
No, I'm not thinking of the hippo guy. I'm thinking
No,
of,
like of our assignment, like our
No,
original
like
assignment.
Original Sky Libraries.
I'm going
Completely
back,
different.
yeah, to the libraries. as he hops down off your shoulder, I will drop a small paired journal to the library.
Okay.
And he goes, I've been informed to give these to people who might be able to use, who might be interested in a knowledge exchange with this organization. That's the only thing he thinks as he kind of starts his muttering again about as if he just leaves it as he gets up and moves over.
As you drop to a completely different tone, mentally, so does Prometheus. For a time, as you're handing him the journal, you hear almost the businessman come out. And he says, "We could certainly discuss some knowledge exchanges. That will completely depend on how much you can help me. We can discuss this in the future. I'm sure we will see more of each other."
And Nick's thought is, straight up is, I do what I'm told.
Go ahead and roll the deception.
No. That when it's relation to what it thought-wise it is, if they tell me to do this, I'm talking about the school.
About the school.
About the library.
It's towing the line of the truth, so roll me a flat charisma check. Whatever is your best bonus, you can take that.
On a charisma?
If you have better persuasion or deception, you can take that. That doesn't necessarily mean that is what you are rolling.
I have zeros across the board. Anything like that. What is it?
It's a 12.
But it is, if I'm informed, if the thought is, if they want me to do it,
You'll do it.
I'll do it. That is why I'm here. I'm at the library's discretion. Personal agenda, he feels it. I'm not hiding, I have my own
Yes.
laws. But if they tell me to do something, that is what I communicate to him. And I'm in that manner. As I'm kind of muttering to myself, and
As you continue muttering, Warden, he specifically kind of like knocks on your metal mind, and he holds two fingers up to his head, and you see two thin, wispy, white, like streams come from his mind. As he steps to you and says, "May I?" Do it.
I understand what he's casting. Or
You get the idea he's trying to give you information of some sort, but he would be inside your mind to do it in some regards.
Nibs is going to petrolate.
Warden just nods.
And so he taps your mind, and these two wispy white clouds touch the outside of your skull, and they go in the hexagonal implant, and you have two new memories of two specific buildings in separate sections of the city, kind of instigating as these are places to go to possibly find a little bit more information about what happened here. And as he climbs the ladder, you guys all see from the entrance, you guys are at the tower. The massive spiraling tower that you guys saw earlier. Now that you know as the Marianne Tower.
I'm going to walk back over to the library, and it's, I'll offer to carry it.
He's gonna side eye you so hard as I pick it up.
Yeah.
Criminal offense, side-eye.
It's like he lives to like. It's very responsibility to take care of a beast so noble. Be ashamed of something that happened to it.
I walk up to you with my heartbeat. I walk up to you with my heartbeat. Step back. I'm waiting for you to leave.
I'm just gonna kind of look at you and shake your head.
You guys,
Yeah,
I will have you know, you have the highest passive As soon as he starts climbing up the ladder, as soon as his final foot leaves and he steps out of view, you hear a and Zareth steps over to the top of the ladder and looks down. I don't like that guy. He was messing with my head.
I'm gonna just look at him and I'm gonna try to think. Can you hear me still? To Zareth.
Why are you giving me that look?
Oh, I was trying to do the lovely thing, but that is not working. Hit the target and grab a hold of the client.
Oh my lord, can we just go? I heard pretty much everything that was going on. I don't know how, because I was not controlling myself.
You
You want my back up?
Okay,
What is
the
that?
you offered it out to him. I was standing right there. I rolled
Okay,
19
so-
sleight of hand to
You
put it in my
definitely
bag of holding.
like grab the long tuft of hair, you just grab it on the scalp, and it is now like you're just holding it.
And I put it in the bag of holding.
There you go. It's in the bag of holding.
No.
Nah,
He
this.
doesn't have a bag of holding.
Zareth looking at you guys. He sees the heartbeat go into the back, and he's like, "Finally, it's dead. Can we go inside, please?" And he just
It
begins
heads
to
for the door. It heads for the
So
door.
I'm throwing a fit. 1 second.
I would like to throw a fit.
Give me one moment. I would like to cast an 8th level duration.
doing something big.
Like to cast.
Fuck you.
That's a 9th level.
That's
Figure it
a
out.
9th level enchantment.
Did he just like, are you just about to scream or something or what?
Oh, no.
Oh, that would be a bad idea.
You just took his possession?
You told him, you said, can you put the bag of holding? He's like, sure. They put it in the bag of holding.
But it's with him.
Okay. Will you let me grab your arm?
Will you?
Yeah, will you let me?
Sure. He just put it in and then you grab his arm.
Hey, give it back. Give it back right now.
Pull it out. Sorry. Do you want to put it in the warden's bag? He's the only other one with a bag of holding.
my hand out.
If you give it back to him, I'm gonna laugh so fucking hard.
So they're all inside to see if he gives it back.
I don't think you have to roll insight.
This is almost stop it right now.
I have the wyvern just in my other arm.
Stupid, I'm just gonna go to the corner and get tied to dead body back to
I'm gonna walk back over to the warden and just kind of lean up.
What is this about? There were none outside the room, but yes.
He was gonna say something, but it didn't end up having a good time to say.
Just kind of look up at you and then start crawling up, back up to your shoulder. I think we should get. Again, I'm talking very quietly. Well, I agree with him. We should get out of here. Get under cover.
As we move from that conversation, I will denote a few things in particular that you guys learned that you might want to note.
Thank God, because I was like, how am I gonna do this?
We are.
By watching the video,
That's my last my ass.
specifically, Dr. Voberman is still alive.
Dude's alive. They can't leave the thing.
They cannot leave and are immortal while in here. However, you will also recognize that there are 2 whole cities plus a little bit of another one that were caught inside of the fold. Meaning, there were a whole lot of immortal sons of bitches in here. Where are they? If the fold encapsulates that much space...
That has been consuming Nari since you were like,
Wait. So, re-explain what the shadows are.
The shadows...
Or everyone
all
who
the other
died.
monsters.
The shadows, well, the monsters are those who died on impact. The shadows are those who have died post-impact, and their souls are unable to leave.
Okay, so they're immortal, but they're not immortal?
So they died
So their
by
souls...
martial means.
Okay, so their souls are immortal, but their bodies aren't immortal?
Yes.
Got it.
the people who are
Now,
of,
their
so
bodies, as long as their
if we
souls
dis-
are in them,
if we
are
dis-
fine.
if we
But as
dis-
soon as one physically dies, their soul leaves their body.
And they
And over
become
time,
shadows.
they become shadows.
Got it. Okay.
So do we think that any of those shadows were some of the immortals? Is that what I'm
We can
getting?
kind of just.
Well, they're immortal monsters. They're what's left of the monsters after they've been killed.
They're what's left of anything that's died after it's been killed. So the monsters, the Vlukar, are those who initially died on the impact
Yes.
of the fold.
And any of the
Any other creature that had a soul that has died since then has become a shadow.
so any adventurer that dies in here becomes a shadow.
yes.
Ooh, dope.
Because they're
And we
soul
did
can't
light.
leave the
We did light, and it dispelled them. But we don't. Based off of what he stated, they'll come back to our knowledge.
You would guess that since I would say everyone roll an intelligence check. This is a party-wide
Such a good intelligence.
intelligence check.
Oh, I got
3.
this. I'm about to carry the whole party.
Thank you.
1.
I'm the only.
I will say I got one more intelligence point.
I would say.
When we level up, I'll get 1.
I got a big whopping 5.
What was that? That doesn't look high.
Intel.
That is a 13,
Oh, hey, I got a 16.
or is that a? Yeah, it's 13.
13.
Okay. Well, nobody rolled
13.
significantly high.
So I got a 16.
You guys have the information that I'm going to give you for now. There will be more ways to decipher it or bring things in as time goes. However, you guys head into the hotel. As you head in, there are
Tower.
The Tower of
the Marian Ann Tower. What?
Mary
tower?
and Anne.
Marian Ann.
Marian Ann.
What? There.
Okay. How do you get to a different plane of existence?
By high-level spells. Or portals.
Do
or
I
accident.
Or stones.
Or tricks.
Nari does not know is the answer.
No. Do I get the impression that there could potentially be some
Or that one cave.
places that, like, because of the fold and like all the magic issues with it, that there are some places that you could go to and you can be, like, you can go to a different plane without having to cast a spell necessarily.
In the fold,
Yes.
you would. Nari has absolutely no flipping clue.
You have no idea
that is
what the
a
runes
question
were.
far beyond anyone in this party.
We'd have to get very lucky to find out by stepping through a portal.
I
Yes.
think the only one who'd have a slight idea, if it was even capable, is Warden and his knowledge of the runic orb and what was put on the runic orb.
Yeah.
Well, and but Snake
was
Eyes
like-
was
there was like
talking
some
all about
you only
how
worked on one aspect of it.
I only worked on
But
one aspect
your
of it,
point
which
is,
was like 400
they screwed
runes.
up at such a level.
that's
You-
what I'm saying. Like,
it's
how do
very
we?
possible.
Like, because they were talking about how they were trying to get to different planes, but they still can't leave the area. Does that, like, I don't know.
Also recognize, you would assume that these are characters that quite possibly double your intellectual levels that have been working on it for 14,000
And that's
years.
fair.
You have absolutely no comparison.
From
Fair.
the memories, from my memory
Mhm.
television thing, I mean, you would know that that Warden himself put on like 400 some odd runes on it. And that was just Warden.
Okay, so to begin speeding things up a little bit, you guys step into the hotel and find some rooms. Now, this is very, very lavish.
How many floors?
There is
this
an
the
elevator
spiral tower?
that the door is open and broken. You can't use the elevator, but on the door there are 486 buttons. However, you recognize from the outside there's probably only somewhere around 40 levels still left because the building is snapped in half. More than in half.
It looks like it was laser beamed.
Yeah.
Nibs goes, I think we should be somewhere in the middle. Anyone know where the stairs might be?
My
There's-
vote's for floor 13.
So, so you guys find a sign that takes you to a staircase. Yes.
Since I have my memory back, can I read this ancient language?
It translates itself. There is not really much. It's
Oh.
literally just a set of stairs and an arrow. It's not like a staircase.
But like I'm also talking about like the actual ancient language.
So
was-
here's the funny part. You can understand it spoken, but you cannot read it because you were never taught it.
But I could understand.
If it was spoken, yes.
Well, then how did I speak to them?
How did you speak to them? You get the idea that this overall nation was advanced beyond Tower of Babel thought processes, where languages have barriers.
I thought I was gonna get a new language. Anyways.
Yeah.
E for effort. E for effort.
Anyway, so you guys begin going up. Do you want to take off on the 13th floor?
Sure. That
Yes.
seems pretty fair.
There is no 13th floor.
It's gone.
It skips the 13th floor.
No,
It goes from
technically, if it says 14, it's still the 13th floor.
Yeah,
It's
let's-
technically the 13th
So let's
floor.
go to the
yes.
14th
No,
floor.
So they're
Able
superstitious.
It's yeah.
No, like you literally, there is no door on the 13th level.
Is there anything of note about
Wait, so
the
there
hotel? Like, are
is
there?
a 13th level.
There is a 13th level, but there is no door to it.
Yeah, what am I seeing when
Does
I'm
it look
walking
like
around
there's
going
anybody
upstairs?
that anybody has been here for a while?
It looks pristinely kept.
Nib's gonna
That's a
take his.
problem.
Is there lights?
Nib's,
Is it dusty?
Yes, there are lights. There is very, very little dust.
I'm gonna be wary walking through because
Now recognize, Jasper Laboratories also was pristine.
yeah, look
Yeah.
where that goes.
On the inside, not the outside.
Fair. So you guys step into the 14th floor and make your way. Do you guys get separate rooms? There are lavish beds, like Alaskan king-sized beds that 4,000 ply.
Is that bigger
I
or
think-
smaller than a California king bed?
That's the biggest. Alaskan king is the biggest bed
Nice.
made. Yes, Jade.
What's the floor made of?
The floor? It's rugs.
Okay.
Not
It's
carpet,
made of
it's
rugs.
rugs.
Knock, knock.
It is rugs.
Knock, knock. Is it wood?
Knock knock. You do feel.
Well, you
wood
don't have
after
to
the
knock.
rugs.
Nibs is sticking these rugs in the bag of holding. You just pick them up and go because they're nice.
They are very, very long. Like
Yeah.
the rug
Yeah.
opens up on the elevator and goes like 100 feet
Yeah.
down.
So
you
he's
just like roll
he's just
it.
gonna roll it, roll it, and then take his
Man
claw.
gets a box cutter.
Yeah, takes his claw, cuts it, and then slides it in the bag and starts rolling.
Are the doors open? Like, are all the doors on this floor open, or are there some that are closed, or that we get the
All the
impression
doors
of-
are closed, but they open freely.
Well,
Naria would like to go up and down and see if she can find signs of anybody being there. She's gonna have at least one
Go
dagger
ahead and roll
drawn.
me an investigation.
Ah, here we go.
I'm gonna go look for
while she's
room
rolling-
number 69.
Roll me investigation.
while they're doing that, Warden turns to Zareth
Shit.
and asks
What do you
him,
roll? It's
A
the lowest
two-
DC possible.
A 2 plus. You said
Not
investigation?
20!
hold on.
3.
Okay, so you need a 5? 5 is the
No,
lowest.
I got a 3
Oh, you got a 3.
total.
That's tough. No, you don't find a room 69. So
You
you
got
got a
a
nat
nat-
20 on investigation.
23.
A 23. Okay, is anybody with Nari as she's going up and down?
Are you on this floor or going up multiple floors?
I'm just checking this floor right now. I'm gonna have one of my
She
Yeah.
was checking.
I'm gonna have one of my
out.
daggers drawn.
Nibs is
Kinda
in the
just
hallway
like-
watching you while he as he kind
While
of
this is going
follows
on,
behind you.
Warden turns to Zareth and asks, "Have there always been functioning lights in this city?"
I thought Zareth disappeared.
No, Zareth was leading you guys in there. He was like, oh, fuck this shit. I'm just going inside. Because
Yeah, he was
That's
the
right.
he
first-
came
Zareth's
to you,
the,
and
Zareth's
he-
the driver, not
yeah,
the.
Yeah.
and he got mind control to
Right.
drive you guys here. Like, he actively said that to you guys, like,
Yeah.
I don't like that.
Yeah.
But we're here now, so let's go get some sleep. So,
Emotional
before we go over what
damage.
Nari and Nikolai find, are you just finding a room?
I vote. Are these rooms large enough to have multiple beds in them?
I was gonna say we should use a buddy system. of
I
some sort.
think that we should definitely just.
everybody wants to use that.
We said we wanted to use.
So you
we
could
said
not
we were fine with the
move,
buddy
the
system,
beds are
just not
too
with
big. You could
literally
not
being
get too
physically
They're
tied
literally too
together.
big. But, okay, so an Alaskan
Well,
king is
whoever
literally
would
like
have
a
been
12 by
physically tied
12.
to me.
Okay,
would
it
have been
is
safe, because if they did get taken
huge. You
away-
could fit 2 people there
It
and
wouldn't
have
make it
all the
very
bed
far.
space you could
Y'all
have
are
one plus some.
small. We
And
can put it. Yeah.
literally all of you guys could fit on an Alaskan king with a little bit of space since you have 3 tiny people.
For like the dwarf beds and stuff.
And we also don't need to account for Warden because
Yeah.
it's just.
He can just sit in a chair.
Well, I can
Stand if he wants. But...
do whatever I want. Really.
Yeah.
Either way, so are you just finding a room?
Sure, I'll just find a room to kind of go into and investigate, and I'm just basing this on the assumption that this is where I'm going
That's
to
a big
spend the
bit.
night.
Okay.
Right when we got to the floor and he started moving the carpet, I cast Shillelagh on my staff and said, "No 13th floor, eh?" And started beating the ground to break through the floor.
Okay, go ahead and roll me a strength check, and we'll get back to you.
Wait,
But
Shillelagh
you are
doesn't
with
rely
Nari.
on strength.
Mikhail, you are attempting to find room 69. Or
Yeah.
what are you?
I already said it.
He's talking to the guy and then
I was talking to Zareth and asked him.
Okay,
They're always
you were
been
talking to
functioning.
Dude, what did I see Zai? Were you trying to go into a room?
he's trying to break
Yeah,
the floor.
I'm just.
No,
No,
Trek
Trek-
was.
Yeah, I'm just going into a room because I am only concerned about the space that I'm going to be inhabiting for the rest of the night. I'm not really concerned about everything else.
Okay, Nari's gonna shout and tell you to be wary. Check your room thoroughly.
I'm going to pull out my dagger.
Roll me an investigation. So Nari,
What
go ahead and roll
Nari
me a
find?
d6.
Libs as yes.
Go ahead and roll me the d6 6 times. And tell me what numbers you get.
You're re-rolling a character.
So, you get a permanent negative per d6. Starting from strength, then we'll go over from
I got a 4 and a 3 this turn.
4, 3.
1, 6, 6,
1.
1. 4,
So,
3, 1, 6, 6, 1.
you're going from room to room.
Dagger drawn.
Yeah, I know.
Making sure we're very clear about this.
First couple rooms, it's just a plain, like you've been in plenty of tavern and inn rooms. This is just probably like a 15 to 20 gold a night kind of room. Beautiful sheets on the bed, massive bed. There is actually like a outline for a hologram projection on the wall. There's multiple different dressers and furniture. All of it's empty. As you continue making your way along, as you enter the room, you hear a very, very faint scuffle. What room number? We'll call it room number 28. You hear a faint shifting of something under the bed. And after a second, coming out from underneath the bed, another thing you notice, on the end of the bed, there's like a box, like a chest, that has been dumped on the ground, and there's just a whole bunch of children's toys.
Okay.
And you see like a white outline of a hand come from the outside of the bed and peek around, and it's the outline shape of a young girl, maybe 7 or 9, just peeking out from the outside of the bed.
Sorry. Do I see anything else, like signs of an adult living here, or just the child?
Since Nibs is with her, as she opens the door, he hears the thing. He looks up. Can he see through her?
Yes, like she is transparent.
The girl is transparent?
Yes, she's got
White outline.
She is
You
a
just
ghost.
see like an outline plus like a ghastly face.
Do I get the impression that she just appears curious or afraid?
She is a mixture of the two.
Nibs is gonna look up at her, take the little bit of carpet, and go like this.
And then she realizes she made noise and like ducks behind the bed.
And he's gonna kind of reach out, touch your hand, and kind of pull you back, and say, "We're going away, darling," and shut the door.
As the door is shutting, you see her like peek, and then you just see white outlines as she shifts towards the door, and you hear, "Come play with me."
Nibs is gonna look up in Ari. He's gonna go. I don't have my ring.
There's probably gonna be a ton of ghosts.
So here's the thing. This
You
is
remember
something
what
completely different from the
Prometheus
shadows.
said?
The shadows were
The shadows are creatures that
dull
die.
blue and black
She's white.
outlines. She is a white outline.
If you recall what Prometheus said, he said there will
There's
not
some
be
common
any shadows,
there.
but there may be some
Lost,
souls.
Nibs is gonna smile.
I thought they said there's neither lost souls or
No, he said there will be no shadows, but there might be some lost souls in there. He
I'm,
didn't tell you how to approach them.
I am going to reach into my bag of holding, pull out a small jar, unscrew the lid, and it's like, I'll wink up at you. No. And it's got this weird
Catch
goo
it
in
like a
it.
Pokemon.
It's got this weird little goo in it. And I'm going to unscrew the top and kind of push the door open and go, sure. And I walk in, and I've got the little jar with the shapeshifter fluids in it.
Okay.
And I'm going to set it down on the floor and just kind of smile at it and go, this is something weird I found. Do you want to play with it? I'm going to put my hands in it like it's Play-Doh with goo.
You see her kind of move
It's like
towards it.
his shape, like
It's
shape-
his family.
Yeah,
it's
it's
his
his
people.
goop.
It's not his goop. It's from the corpses that we burned. I stole some, and he missed it.
Yeah. As
It's
you're
not
doing
fucked
that,
up.
she goes.
Again, it's not below.
She goes to put her hands inside of it, and her hand just passes through the jar. And she seems like super sad for a second, and then it just begins to lift from the jar, and
Yeah.
she's molding it around.
Like,
So yeah, Ghost is using psychic technology, like psionics.
telepathic.
Yes.
Sort of.
Yeah, and I'm gonna go.
Psionics is
Yeah.
the technical name.
Basically, this is like Play-Doh.
Yes. And so she's just molding it around, and she seems like completely absorbed by it.
And then I'm just gonna kind of smile and look at you and it's like kind of jerk my head back down the hall towards everyone else.
Can you guys roll me a stealth check as you sneak out?
No, I stay there.
You stay?
I stay with her.
Okay,
for a
alright,
moment.
go ahead and
I
you
want.
don't have to roll a stealth. You can just walk
Yeah.
out. If someone's staying.
I'm staying with her.
Okay.
My nod is, and I'm gonna kind of.
Telepathically tell me what's going
Well,
on.
I'm not gonna even bother with that because I don't. I'm going to tap this and then shake my head no, because other people have been in our heads. I'm not even gonna try to talk on that level. I'm keeping my focus on the little girl and making sure she's happy. And I'm like, you need to walk out and let everybody else. That's kind of what I'm dropping.
Alright. Do you continue to investigate after meeting?
I am interested. I am curious about the little girl.
You rolled 2 6s. I think there's
So,
You also rolled 2 1s. And then a 3 and a 4. You don't know which one. And also, I might have just had you bullshit roll.
yeah, Nibs is
That was
gonna,
all.
as she's playing with it, Nibs is gonna pull out a little heating stone and like start making proper tea.
Some property.
And then, yeah,
Nibs, go ahead and roll me a history check. Or you can just roll a flat intelligence check with your highest intelligence.
so flat
modifier.
intelligent modifier.
So whatever skill you have the highest modifier in, you can use that.
Whatever intelligence skill, that would be an Arcana.
An Arcana.
I will roll this because I didn't.
I didn't like
I'd like to look through the rest
That
of the room.
would be a 15.
the rest of that room with the girl in it,
Oh.
because you had just left.
No, I didn't
No,
leave.
she-
I
no.
didn't say I was doing
No,
anything.
I
He
gestured-
encouraged me to leave,
Okay,
but I
so what are
didn't
you
do
doing?
anything.
What was the Arcana check?
15.
15. With what little information you remember about ghosts and lost souls, you remember you still have quite a bit of salt left in your bag in case you need it.
I'm gonna step just outside the room. I'm still gonna keep Nibs kind of in my
Line of sight.
line of sight and see if I can get any of their attention without drawing attention from the girl. Just
I'm
kind
like
of.
fully in my room.
Yeah.
It's a long
Just kinda, I'm gonna
walk.
kind of.
You're
I'm
just
gonna
banging
look-
like
roll
this.
a
Look,
D6, please.
If it's a straight hallway, I'm still right next to the elevator.
Okay.
have you been able to break?
Mikhail,
What did you get on your
On
strength?
the,
Um,
yeah, one on the
I
one.
get to roll my
Do you want to
spell
roll me a
check instead,
D6
so
as well?
that's 17.
As
I
you have
haven't been
been
able to tell
going
them
through trying to
what I
find room 69.
3.
3.
Is
So,
Zareth responding
you got
to
how
my
much?
question?
I got
Zareth already
18.
had responded. I have responded
Unless he's
immediately.
really wanting me to
Zareth
use
was like,
strength and not my spell attack.
I don't know. He has never been to this city before. He's always bypassed it to go to Kutor Lot. So, in his 2 trips into the fold, he has only gone to Kutor Lot. Which is weird considering Asus is so much closer, but also, it seems there's a lot more of a concentration of adventurers stepping into Asus than there is to Kutor Lot. Meaning, more new shit to find.
Supposedly.
Supposedly.
So you guys are still in the hall talking when she comes out and starts gesturing. And you were breaking the floor with
Shrek? What was
I
your strength?
cast Shillelagh, so that's a +7 spell attack modifier to the strength.
Yes.
Okay,
What was your-
18.
18? You can't break through the wood.
It is wood. It's not stone.
It is wood.
Mm-hmm.
You
It is
physically cannot break through it.
Fancy wood.
So it is magic.
Magic.
You have no clue. That is not something
You're like,
that Shrek
what
is knowledged in.
He's
You're just like, I am hitting this, but I am weak. It's not breaking.
What's a spell attack?
Well,
Don't you start with the soundboard too?
I
does
Just
know.
that go
soundboard.
with just
Hey, I don't
every
have
strike
a
I'm doing, or was
soundboard.
that one strike?
I just have to look up everything.
You've been hitting at it for a minute. Yeah.
I keep
Alright.
getting that 1 hour of silence interrupted by the Taco Bell
Gong.
video recommended to me. I want to play it.
You should play it just so we're at the worst timing. Bong!
The thing is, it'll only gong like 12 times for the rest of the session.
Yeah.
Either way, let's continue.
Yeah, and if she's trying to get my attention now, we can
Yeah, so you kind of look up.
I'm not like waving or anything. I'm just kind of like trying to make eye contact with somebody and be like, kind of gesture them over.
I would say, Nibs, you can also come over at this point.
Well,
Or, sorry, you're already inside.
Yeah.
I keep forgetting. Mikhail's down around a couple corners.
what would
Zareth does not care. Zareth finds his own room and starts going to bed. Yes, Nibs.
what would I have to roll to see if I could remember a book or something I read about transferring of a ghost or a spirit into another body?
For literally anyone.
Roll me Arcana and Religion. One each. And you can
Arcana.
roll History too if you want.
Arcana is 15. Religion is 15.
That's funny.
And what was the other one?
History.
And history is 16.
16. So you're going through, you're like, this is perplexing. I'm curious. And you start like going through your mental bookshelves, and you do not find anything.
I don't have anything. Yeah, so I don't have intentional or possession in there. I do know about the salt. I do remember the
You
salt.
remember about salt. If you place it in a door, a soul can't follow you through the door. But you would have to line every door, not walls, but doors or windows. If you sprayed it with salt at high velocities, it would have to dissipate for a time, but would only anger it at the end of it, unless you could find either the body or some kind of memento that is holding it to this plane. But you
If
also
I
get
circled it in salt, what would happen?
that would be something for you to try. That
So
could be something for you to try.
she's playing. She's got the little plate thing. I do the little tea. I pour a cup for myself. I start drinking it. I set out another china set teacup for her across from me, and I'm kind of just sipping, and I'm keeping an eye on Nari as I'm thinking. And Warden has the salt. I did not take the salt away from him.
Mhm.
I mean, I've got the salt I stole from the restaurant
You got a
and
little
and a shaker. But that's all I got.
Yeah, you don't have enough to do this kind of thing.
Yeah, you have the salt, but
Didn't you sell like 90%?
He
of
sold
it?
a lot of it, but he still has a couple bags.
I still got still got a couple 30-pound or 20-pound bags. So you come to Nari.
Yeah, I drag myself over and, yeah, eyes wide, real big at the little ghost girl.
Playing with this goopy stuff.
And I stare back at you. What am I supposed to do?
At this
Okay, I
point,
can kill it, or I have a really bad
Stops.
idea.
you hear, coming from the room that Zareth just stepped into, like as you're stepping into a room, Zareth is already in one, and you hear him just go, "What the hell?" And so you kind of like come out and you step back over.
Yeah.
And as you're looking in, you see a pair of figures, white, ghostly shapes, in the middle of a waltz, and you hear very, very faint, like old classical music.
Yes!
Classical music! Classic!
I pray the mic picked that up, because that would be one of the funniest freaking timings I have ever had as a DM.
Wait, was that someone's phone?
It just randomly does it.
Can we do that can somebody please put that as their sound notification? Just the
That is
That's
perfect.
actually-
Anyway,
I love that.
So
We have
I
that.
faintly hear doom.
you faintly hear like classical music and violins and a piano playing as you just see these two figures in the middle of like a 4-step
That
waltz.
is adorable. Maybe.
I mean, it's a little weird. They are not touching the ground. They're like floating above the bed.
I'm going to. How far into the room is what's his butt?
He is like 5 steps in. So
5
you know how
steps in.
hotels, they have a little kind of like
Oh, yeah,
hallway,
like that
and then
little
you like
hall.
open up. Yeah, he got to the end of the hallway, looks over, and is like, what the hell?
Okay, so I'm going to. Can I like? I'm gonna walk in very stealthily. Is this something I might need to roll like a stealth check?
I mean,
or
you
something
can
like
just
that?
step in quietly.
Okay, I'm gonna step in quietly. I'm going to grab his wrist and I'm gonna pull him out, and then I'm just gonna say, let's just leave them alone. They seem like they're having their own little time in there. They seem perfectly occupied. They don't seem like they're gonna bother us.
And he's just kind of like stunned. He's just like, "Oh, okay. And he steps out and just kind of like goes 5 rooms down and then goes in. I don't know if you go into another separate room, but quickly, Mikhail. As you're attempting to find room 69, it appears that there are only 60 rooms to a level. So you just say, what's the next best? You go to room 42. So
Damn.
What's
you're
the next
walking.
best?
So as you begin to backtrack your way through the halls, you see a horse and a man riding it, like with a long stick with a bent end, leap across the hallway and go into room 52.
Did I see this since I'm in the hallway as well?
No. So he is at the end of all of the hallways. You guys are still at the front. So he's taken multiple turns trying to find room 69.
That's an idea.
I just keep on walking.
And you just keep on walking?
Yep.
Okay. Mikhail's the smart one.
Envisioning.
Mikhail has no curiosity. So you just make your way back. There are a couple other very, very strange occurrences. One of which does include a ghostly dog with a child chasing it, running directly at you, and you just kind of like sidestep as they run by. Almost as if it's like a hologram going by, but there is, without a better word to describe it, soul in it. It's not like you're watching something getting played, you're watching an active occurrence. And so, I would like everybody here, real quick, go. Logan knows how to do this, and so does Nate. Everyone else might need a little bit of help. But add
Sanity.
sanity.
Wait, what are we doing?
I got it.
I don't know.
So at the bottom of your skill chart, it says skills. Click skills and then make a custom skill.
So, right here, addition, skills,
Bottom of your skills. Yep.
add a custom
And
skill.
then add a custom
Sanity?
skill.
Call it sanity.
And take proficiency off because you don't have proficiency.
Yes. So go to click that edit. Okay, no, do that again. There.
This?
Yeah. Now click there.
Whoa, what did you do?
Click into custom skill. So you can right click it, just do whatever you can. Go to edit.
Oh, that's
This is
Yeah, erase that, call it sanity.
That wasn't even my fault.
And I'm gonna add it to Warden's real quick, just so that he doesn't have to deal with that when he gets back.
No proficiency.
Whoa, that one really wasn't even one of those.
0. No.
And add it as 10.
Override 10.
Yes.
This, okay.
Okay.
So we have plus 10. That's pretty good.
Override 10.
No.
No. It'll end up being a 0.
Oh,
Yes.
well, that's how it is.
It'll be a +0, but the base stat line will be considered 10.
So don't override.
So-
are we not rolling? We're just
I
taking
have
a
no
straight
idea.
middle of
You
the
roll
road.
when you sleep.
Don't override 10 because that makes it a +10. If
Okay.
you do nothing, it just
Leave it at 0, and then we can make a note.
Nari's not interested in going to sleep when she knows there's ghosts around.
Well, this is
0.
a aspect of the fold, not
So
necessarily
this is
an
not
aspect.
proficient, right?
Not proficient.
Not proficient.
It'll be 0, and then in your notes just say 10, but leave it at a 0 on override. I put nuts in because I'm gonna go nuts. But
Nuts.
so
I have added it to wording sheet.
Cheese nuts.
Yes, Nate? Yeah, Nate.
Sorry.
is the girl very involved with that? Should she not want the
She
tea?
is hyper fixated on it.
Okay. I'm going to finish my tea, kind of walk around. I'm going to pick up the tea and walk around and just kind of look around the rest of the room.
Okay.
I would like to do an investigation and maybe an arcana to see if I can figure out if there's something in this room that she's tied to.
Okay, go ahead and make an
Probably
investigation.
the toys.
Can I get filled in from Nari?
And then
what does she
Arcana.
want? Can I get filled in from Nari? Like, what does she want? Kind of
24 investigation,
Do you have any idea?
5 arcana.
5 Arcana.
Huh?
Ghost, what does she want? By the way, we have added a custom skill called Sanity to everyone's characters. Just FYI.
Oh shit.
Yeah, you know what's going on.
So,
Am I affected by that as a robot?
yes. You are a sentient creature, therefore you are affected. So, you begin looking around the room, and you find
I've been in the hallway this whole time.
Yeah,
nothing in the
I've
room
been in the hallway,
except
and
for
I've seen more
toys.
ghosts than all
But
of
you
you
cannot
combined.
distinctify which one you believe she's tied
I
to.
haven't seen it.
I'm going to walk.
Which one of the what?
I'm going to walk.
That she's tied to.
Is there a window in this room?
There is not. This is a central room to
I'm
them.
going to walk back to the door, step out while she's playing, and as I step out, does she react?
Go ahead and roll me a stealth check.
This is wonderful.
Do we still have Pass Without Trace up? Because he cast it when he cast it again when we were on the thing.
He cast it a while.
It hasn't been an hour since we got off the vehicle.
Let me-
The pass without trace?
Because he cast it after we
I'll
started
give
driving.
it to you whether it's technically narratively there or not, because it has been a while. Because also, you guys walked up, 15 flights of stairs. That's a little bit of time. But I'll give it to you.
Okay, then that'd be 23.
23. So you definitely kind of step around the room, look around. There's like a dozen toys. You aren't certain which one it is. You know that you would have to salt and then burn whatever it is this thing's connected to. However, go ahead and roll me a religion real quick.
That's a little weird.
Oh, that's crap.
This isn't a very high DC.
That one
Still failed.
with 0.
That does not beat a very low DC.
No.
Uh,
No, the stealth was to see if when I step out of the room, does she react?
yeah, I was more talking
Oh,
like,
about the initial roll.
no, I'm saying the religion check was for something completely different.
Okay.
To see if you can probably remember a little bit more information. Man, that thing is going way more active. So you quietly step out of the room. Do you close the door?
Does she look up?
No.
I pull out my salt and I make a line barrier,
Okay.
and then I stealthily shut the door.
So I'll say it's probably better for you to close the door, or at least make the line on the outside of the door.
Yes.
Yeah.
On your side of the door. So
Yes.
you make the line and then slowly close the door. As you begin closing the door, you see eyes flick up, and then that same just transference light teleportation come towards you and slam against the blue wall that just appears in front of the door.
As I shut the door, and I go.
And you just hear that calms down over time, over like 3 minutes. It just calms
So I'm in the hallway still. Am I able to see any people standing in the hallway? Like, are we in the same hallway?
Yeah, you guys are in the same hallway.
Okay, can I walk over towards...
Yeah.
I just kind of want to be involved in what
And you hear the banging on the door.
And you hear
Yeah,
just
so I'm definitely
torrential banging.
interested, and I don't want to be alone at this point.
Where's Zareth?
Zareth is in his
Zareth
own
has
room,
found
like
his own room.
5 doors down.
I'm gonna.
And
Are you
he kinda
coming back to us?
I'm just gonna leave him there.
Yes.
So, are we all gonna
I
meet
am-
up except for Zareth?
I would say at this point, Warden finally makes his way to the rest of the group to just kind of be like,
I mean, yeah,
Warden, I'm gonna go. Hey, Warden.
I've kind of been.
We need
Here.
to find a room that's empty, salt the door, and then do a salt circle around the bed. And then we all need to get in
go ahead
that
and make me
bloody.
a religion check.
It's like we all need to get in that bloody circle before we sleep.
You can do one.
Let's go.
It's just,
Would we be able to pile multiple beds? Like bring a mattress or something?
the beds are giant.
The beds are too big.
Oh, you can't take mattresses off of them?
Dude, the mattresses are 12 by 12.
Okay.
Try and fit
I mean,
I'm
that.
just saying,
you
how
could-
are we gonna fit all of us?
But he couldn't.
I mean, I guess
Yeah.
he could have his own separate circle.
It's like
One
he
chair,
just
Warden,
sits next
You
to us.
immediately kind of clock the idea that Nikolai is getting at. You're like, oh, okay, there's ghosts. I know a little bit about those. And so you
I
kind
figured it was kind of mentioned over the comm, but
Well,
We
No one
haven't
had
said
ever
anything.
mentioned-
so-
No,
yeah,
one
we-
was-
at
He
this
decided
point,
not to use them
Mikhail,
because
you
we
kind of
were
like
screwing with
step
it.
back in as Warden. You open up a door and you kind of step in. You found a room that doesn't have any ghosts in it. You take out some salt. There are some other protocols that you, yes.
Nari's gonna ask for a handful of salt. Just something that she can
I think the
carry.
idea is we all just gonna.
No. I'm gonna go get Zareth, but I want to have something on me when I
I hand you a salt shaker.
I'd like.
You also
It's embossed. It's
so
embossed
you
with the dwarves.
recognize
The dwarven
in
name.
general.
Beautiful. I'll take it, and I'll go.
If
get
you don't f with the ghosts, the ghosts won't f with you.
Yeah, I figured.
So you aren't as worried about making salt circles because as long as you find a room with no one in it, there will be no issues.
But I'm doing it
For the stipulations of the rest of your party,
Well,
you
we have a lot of salt to do.
you guys move the bed away from the wall. That way you can easily get behind it. You salt around the bed. You salt the door. And
Salt cabins.
Nari, you go to get Zareth
I'm going to get Zareth with my salt shaker.
with your salt shaker. So you walk in with a salt shaker, and you see Zareth
How big is the salt shaker?
actively in a conversation with a ghostly figure at the end of his bed that appears to be an elven woman of some kind.
I want to listen in. I want to stay like just on the outside of the room, listen in.
So, when I say a conversation, you don't hear anything. It's when you peek in, you see his mouth moving and such, and you see them both having like body language as if they're in a conversation, but there is no audio.
Video good. I was gonna say audio, but
Go ahead and roll me an insight.
Yeah. Can't get it
Oh, that's low.
That's a 9.
Plus
What was it?
insight.
9.
9. So looking at this, from what information Warden just gave you of if we don't mess with them, they won't mess with us, Nari legitimately believes that looking at this, Zareth's already engaged. If I disrupt this, it's likely to set something off. Or at least disrupt the calm that is here. And that's not something you want to do around ghosts.
Would I be able to salt the door without being noticed?
Yes.
I would like to do so. Just ask the door.
Okay. So you,
So
put,
if he wants to leave, the ghost won't follow
you
him.
put a thin line on the outside of the door and then close it. And
I do not want
you
to
don't
close it. No. I want to give Zareth an opportunity to get out because I don't
Okay.
want to lose my driver.
Okay, so you leave the door open, thin line of salt on the outside, and then you walk back to the room. At the point that you walk back in, salt lines have been established. At this point, I would say a couple people, especially Mikhail, is like already in the bed with one of the memory foam pillows, like unless you want to be awake still, you're out. Like, it is the most comfortable bed you have ever been.
Wow.
You're just like,
I am entirely like just. I don't even care.
Zoink.
I would
So
also like to sleep.
okay, so sleeping.
Nibs is waiting for her.
So Nibs is waiting. Warden is just kind of in sentry mode.
Well, hold on.
Okay, I guess not.
Unless you say Pass Without a Trace is still on, then he's gonna stay with it.
Pass Without a Trace is technically still on. I have said it is still on, and it's
Okay.
not been long.
Okay. In that case, then he's probably just sitting in the doorway to that.
Yes,
Can Nori figure out why she can't hear the
Go
conversation?
ahead and roll me a
I get the sense that there's a magical sense going on.
religion or arcana, whichever one is higher for you.
It's +3. They're both the
So
same.
this would be a religion check. Religion is the best to mean use to understand it.
Damn.
I didn't mean to roll.
5.
Nari
It's a good roll though.
Yeah, it was a
Nari.
great roll. So Nari,
wasted
Nari
my digital
doesn't
roll,
understand
it's
why she
okay.
didn't
I
hear.
got.
Can I'm gonna
You know how
go.
much my digital
I'm
roll
gonna
is
go
just like
ask
slay.
Nibs then. I'm gonna tell him what I saw and ask him if he has
What do you want
a.
me to roll? Insight?
Go ahead and roll me a religion.
Religion?
Mm-hmm.
8. God damn.
8.
I am not a religious son of.
I was gonna say, none of you are really religious. We only have one here. Does Warden like to? You would have overheard as this comes out.
Take that 22.
I'm like at the door.
Yeah, so you two are asleep, so no rolls from you. But Drax
Did-
can roll.
Okay, did
Drax,
he
are you
hear
gonna get a suit?
Did he
Silly?
hear
Wait,
familiar
would I know this?
with Elvin?
Would I know this based
Like
off
it was
my
someone he
22?
knew personally.
Well,
Right?
yeah. Tinker's tools.
Would I know this based off of my previous roll? Since it was
This is
months ago?
it's a new check. It's a
Oh.
completely different type of information.
Okay. Well,
Did I get
it
the?
doesn't matter because it's
It's fine. They can talk. You can talk over them, and I can listen to all of it at the same time.
30-20.
Do I get the? Did I get the impression that he knew the Elven woman? Did he appear
30-20.
familiar with her?
It almost
Or her.
appeared like a cordial, familiar conversation,
Acquaintance-ish? maybe?
but not like he knew this person. More like this is an interesting conversation that I'm going to participate in. Just like you randomly meet someone and you just hit it off with them, and all of a sudden the conversation just flows, and it's like you've known each other for years.
So you hit it off, and then you get off, and then
Yeah, so we got.
What did you roll for your religion?
Alright,
Warden?
I'll tell.
Should I try sewing?
What did you roll for that religion?
30-20.
I pull out
30-20.
some of the fine fabrics and stuff.
So
and
you
sew,
know
and I kind
There
of
are
cut them
different
and do
types of
this, and I
scissors.
start kind of just sewing on something.
there are just your
Just working
baseline
on
that
it,
might be
yeah,
attached to
yeah.
something. There are bursts or more
Just working
powerful
there,
versions
kind
of a
kind of
ghost
looking at you every once in
that
a while.
have more
Almost kind of
left
cockeyed,
in
you know,
this world
and then
that
move back and
they
keep
want
sewing.
resolved. Now, that does not mean they're always evil or aggressive,
Unfinished business.
but that does mean they're more active
Sewing
with the
with
things
their
around
shroud
them.
for a little.
You would guess that the creature Zareth has come across is something
Very
along the
shroud.
lines of a poltergeist,
Um,
and that is
It's
definitely
like
something you do not
in
want
the
to
old days,
disturb
you,
with. If
it's almost
Zareth
like
is
you put
not
in like
actively being attacked,
thing for
stay
so he sees sewing
away.
for your.
I notioned to Nari to just leave him be for the time being. But I find it hilarious that I'm rolling so well on,
Because I
on
didn't
my
tell
knowledge
him
of
yet.
ghosts, because as a cleric, it is my clerical duties to ease this, help ease the past, help guide the souls beyond casting, or just
So, with that, Nari, Drake, Nibs, what are you guys doing?
We're
Information
sewing
has
a
been
burial
built.
shroud for his baby.
Okay, we do not need to roleplay that.
Yeah.
Uh,
So I was just gonna say, Nari, real quick, higher low.
higher low.
Well,
Okay, Nibs actually didn't need it.
wow, you did
But he has not told you.
No, I
Yeah.
have not.
Well, he just told me. I think you were deciding with me.
Well,
Yeah,
she's
I'll
deciding if
go
I was lying or not.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, Oh, he totally. After eating the first one, he's like, yeah. If I would have
So-
been a
wait,
dragon,
wait.
it would have been bad.
Wait, so then did you tell me that you thought it was something more like poltergeist as opposed to a regular ghost?
I just told you to leave him for the time being.
Do you think he's in danger? Because I don't think losing our driver at a time like this in a place we're not familiar with is really a great idea.
You automatically hear the little ping noise, and my eyes flash orange, and it just says threat detection. Minimal. Eyes flash
So,
back. It was very fast, like as soon as you asked that.
How far down is the room Zareth was in?
he's 4 or 5 rooms down on the other side of the hall.
Like within dashing distance.
He is within 2 rounds of combat at a full dash.
I'm jumping away.
Less than 120 feet. from where
Once
we
we
are.
finish it,
About 100 feet.
offer it to you.
With that,
My
is now
So I'm gonna step inside the room.
you're gonna step inside.
Okay.
So you step in.
As soon as
I would like us to go in shifts.
Okay, as soon as you
I don't
do,
wanna
Nib's gonna look up at you. I'm gonna pat Warden's leg and go, we'll be back.
The great thing about
And I
me
gesture
is
you, and I gesture
we don't
us.
have to do night shifts, but you guys still can, but you don't have to because I really
Okay.
do the night
So
I'm gonna go.
we're running out of time,
I'm
and there's a
gonna
lot
go
more I'd
in
like to get to.
Okay.
So you
Alright.
guys step outside.
We step out, we walk down the hallways. I reach into my thing, I pull out the bowl of water, and I take the recording way, the way we can communicate what gets recorded like I did before I take it off.
Yeah,
I drop it in the water.
I'll listen.
Is that the Rocky talking?
Yeah.
They're both in, and I'm gonna look at you. Drop my accent again and go, we have got some serious problems.
Yeah, you're telling me.
This is, I'm gonna go, I'll look at you, and I'm gonna go, first off, it's like, I'm just gonna kind of shrug and go, we're gonna lose our driver. It's like, there's not much. He goes, we've got someone too powerful for us to handle. Although I might have bribed him. Yeah, so we'll see how that plays. And then I'm going to look at you and go, I don't trust these others.
Do I know that you're talking about Snake Eyes?
Yeah. Because that's like, I'm just going to look at you and go, there are some serious issues with this group.
Am I standing right there?
No.
We're
I
talking-
guess you for her to walk out. I took her down the
It's
hall.
them two.
Okay.
I was going to say,
I mean,
I'm going to look at you and I'm going to say,
Brains
I said, oh, yeah. I said,
and focus and just.
I says, no. I said, Zoe, says, you heard him talk.
Yeah.
He says, he'd been with that team for years. And he ran when trouble came.
oh fuck! He's just gonna start going around those.
I said, I'm just going to flat out say, he's the only one of us not wearing a collar.
Yeah,
And-
So
Yeah, and I'm going to just look at you and I'm going to go, so did you have him roll? Because did you mention your sister? I remember you mentioning your sister around the time with the shapeshifters. Do we know that you're looking for your sister? Because that's how I remember it. There had been a comment about your sister, but Zach,
I don't remember if you made it in character or out of character. I know you made a comment, but I don't remember if it was in or out of character, and I don't
Which
have
players?
I made it
technically
in
in charge of actually
character.
doing the actual
a
mission.
comment.
Mikhail.
But it was
Because one of your leaders died.
more of
Actually, he hasn't really done a
a
lot.
slip.
But has he?
It was in character, but it was more of like a slip as he was kind of frantically searching before
Yes.
regaining composure. And I don't think anyone noticed except for me.
Nikolai was the only one.
yeah.
that
So I'm going to look at him and
And
go,
so
that says, Mikhail's not here for the slave colors. He's not here about this at all. He's here looking for his sister. Yeah, and I said, he let it slip when he found his time dead around it. I'm going to look at him and say, he's a cold killer. He's here for that.
Oh,
But in essence, but he would sell us out in a heartbeat for her. And I'm gonna cock my head and go, that's two you can't trust her. And I look, and I just kind of shrug and go,
And let's agree that the gnome's just an idiot.
Holy fuck!
So,
I really don't like
so
yeah, so I'm gonna look at this, and I was like,
straight.
and I'm gonna lean forward and says, I'm gonna
let's
say,
get through this, guys. Come on.
Warden, he says, Warden's had her back up to now, but we now know that he can be reprogrammed and changed. He says,
He's just a listener,
Well-
and especially with his lack of intelligence and
but
missing pieces.
he's special though. He's like a child, but he's also the most. There's something he's special.
That also means that he can be very impressionable.
Right. Yeah, and
Both
I
ways.
said we'll have to keep in
20
mind
to 40.
because I'll have to watch out for him. But straight up, I don't think he says. I'll talk with him later. But straight up, oh, I forgot about the accent. Yeah, you're the only other one. You're the only one who's
You don't have the accent.
and it's like, and I'm gonna look at you and go,
Do you think we should flip?
no, not here. This is but.
Well, I
This
like
is,
to get a
don't
point
expect,
where it
he
goes.
says, you don't, he says, when it really truly hits the fan, there's only three of us we can truly count on. The rest are allies of convenience.
I think we should make a plan for if we get separated when shit hits the fan. A place to meet.
I'm going to reach in my sleeve. I'm going to pull out one more pair of journal. This won't go on record. This is to me. And I hand you a pair of journal. And I say, there's a lot more going on than causing trouble here.
Nibs, once you're done, can I have you roll a flat charisma check?
Sure. I have no charisma.
I have
What did you roll?
It looks like 2.
6.
6.
He has no charisma.
Okay, finish.
Yeah,
your
so-
story and
And then I'll hand it to you and say,
Basically, we're in.
sorry. And I'm going to say, keep in mind, he says, everything we say. I reach in, I pull out the dart, put it back up, nod at you.
So Nari, with your passive insight, you trust Nibs.
I do.
As a baseline level, you trust him. You feel like there's one or two things maybe he either didn't mention or didn't tell a full truth on, whether that was due to him not fully trusting someone not listening in, or some other situation. There was just something wrong
With
one or two of the things he said. You can't narrow down which one or two things.
well,
I'm not showing you all my cards, Steph.
He's not showing you all of his cards.
I expect that from him. To be honest, I wouldn't. I trust him.
So
that-
nothing personal, I just have to
Do not sense complete and total deceit,
Mm.
but there are definitely half-truths in there that are hiding things from you.
Yeah, it's up to your interpretation.
It's, you don't have a high enough natural insight compared to his role for me to give you what pieces of
Yeah.
information stood you wrong, but there are things in there. And Nibs, I would like you to roll a perception check as you step back. I don't believe you can even make the roll.
Oh, definitely not.
Okay.
Perception?
Yes.
That is 16.
16? Okay. You walk back into the room, not noticing anything. As you are walking
I'm
back,
following slowly behind.
as both of you are walking back, Nari, you hear barking behind you as the child and dog that were previously met by Mikhail, who didn't tell you about any of his encounters, are running straight at you.
I'm gonna take the salt and
You take the salt and you like flick it out in front of you, and you hit the child, and the child just disappears for a second, and the dog gets aggravated, and you quickly run into the room behind the salt, and you just hear like this bulldog pit bull mix just barking outside the door for 30 seconds before it realizes it can't get inside, and just you hear the light pitter-patter of footsteps as you seem to believe that the child reapparated and began running down the halls again.
I've
We
been
are all-
sitting in the hallway this whole time. I watched that whole encounter.
You
He
stepped
got
out.
into the room.
No, he has been out in the hallway.
He's
as the
been
sentries
sitting
pulled up.
in
You,
the
I will
hallway.
say you guys went far enough around the corner to where he didn't see everything,
Oh yeah,
but he
you guys
saw
went
you
around the
two
corner.
go out.
Yeah. I didn't hide it. I was like, we'll be back.
But I'm not in sentry mode. I've
Morgan,
been
can you roll me a perception check?
Do I trust the journal that he gave me?
Please,
You
we
have
haven't
no
even,
reason not to.
you haven't even opened it.
What is your modifier? I'm curious. It's 3. Plus 7?
Yeah.
I had 7 plus 7. That's a 14.
14? You do not notice anything.
Yeah, I figured.
Did
I've
I
kind of been
see
warned about
that
what
the
I'm doing.
that the dog and the child are going towards Zareth's room?
No, they were coming down from where you guys just came from.
Okay.
And then started running back down.
And
Okay.
as I come back, I can walk up to you. I'm going to pat your leg and say, we'll have to talk later. You know, there's some things you need to know.
Okay.
And I'll just, we got to go on.
Yeah. So, you kind of get your little, hey, we'll talk later. Everyone can take a long rest. You guys can level your characters to level 7. Do so very swiftly. Level 7.
So,
Did you not look at your character at all?
No, I totally did. I just want to ask you something.
Yeah.
Can I go to against the elevator where I was trying to make the floor, and before I go to bed, I want to upcast to level 3, burning hands at the floor, 5d6 damage.
It does nothing.
well,
You
okay.
can, and it does nothing.
Okay, so Nibs, when you go out to do that, Nibs is gonna go with you. And since you burnt the floor there and it does nothing, he's like, "This is a good enough spot for the pyre." And I'm gonna take all the stuff that I did, kind of pile it up in a little thing, and you put it on there, and I'm going to set it on fire and burn your little baby. There.
Okay. So, long rest, leveling up to level 7.
Done and done.
Done and done. So, you guys wake up first thing to Zareth standing outside the doorway. Having opened the door, peeking inside, seeing all the salt. Who the hell put salt on my doorway? I nearly tripped and slid and cracked my skull open on my way out of my room this morning.
You're welcome.
I was doing just fine.
Who? Who are we on this?
Zareth.
Oh. Yeah, who were you talking to, my dude?
Look, man, when a ghost starts talking to you and is cordial, you just talk right back until it goes away.
Yeah, but I feel like he's also kind of a loose cannon because he's distrustful of us.
He's distrustful. He's not necessarily been distrustful of you.
He's like, what the fuck is? I would be
Well, the thing
I
is,
think he would be distrustful.
he's being
of us.
paid by you, so he is somewhat distrustful. He's more distrustful of Prometheus, but due to his cordiality with you guys, he is a little distrustful of you. More than not, he is completely and utterly astounded by your lack of intuition as a group. Bringing animals that are loud into a ship where quietness is required, among other things, your ineptitude has surprised him.
He's
And
like, how
that's-
I survived.
Yeah, how have we survived this
Because
far?
I have a great
Either way, so he wakes you guys up and is like, don't worry, there won't be any issues on our way out. And he picks like good berries out of his pocket and is like, I'll meet you guys in the skiff. Let's go quickly.
I'm gonna offer
What's his
cinnamon rolls.
face gave you some memories, right?
correct.
Are you wanting to go there first?
What are the 2 locations?
There is one location.
Grim say.
There is one location in the Sunlight District, which is the living area for the human peoples, and then one in the Midnight District, which is the living area for automatons.
Bring it out. And
Which Sounds
I'll
closer.
say it.
We're in like the center.
You guys are in the eastern section, so what would be quicker for you guys would be the Sunlight District, and then you could hit up the Midnight District, because the Sunlight District is in the center,
Third floor.
and the Midnight is on the western side of the central section of the city.
I am going to describe the building that we need to head to.
You could transfer the memory to him if you wish.
Will I still have the memory?
You will still have a vague representation of it, but he would know exact location within the city.
The only thing that he shared was like the building.
He shared a pathway to get there. That's pretty much what it was. It was like a speedster view of the road you take to get there.
I will worm to him.
Okay. He blinks for a second. Alright. I'll go get her started up. Let's get this shit done quickly. I'd like to get out of the city before another flock comes tonight. And he goes down and begins starting up the skiff. Is anybody wanting to do anything spectacular before you enter?
I'm getting on this dude's already kind of pissed off at us.
I offer
He did
cinnamon-
not have a very restful evening.
No, he didn't. I offer cinnamon rolls to you guys.
The bag of holding.
When did you put cinnamon rolls in the bag of holding?
Back at the giant breakfast before we left.
Holy shit!
Remember I ordered
Those are
everything?
gonna just what?
They are a little stale, but they still taste good.
Yeah, I've got my. I can just kind of control flame and warm them back up in my hand. And
Nari's gonna be like,
as if the life of the sun. The life of the cinnamon.
the life of the cinnamon rolls.
I mean, it's all. I mean, you've hit Dylan's bargain bin, right? Or,
Oh yeah.
No, one of your favorites at Food for Less.
Food for less. I was gonna say it's not the bargain bin.
Well, food, yeah.
I get what you were gonna say.
So he'll offer them to folks.
Cinnamon rolls.
And
Mikhail, doing anything special as you wake up?
Can I see if I can get the ring out while he was asleep?
Did you not know that he's?
It was glowing in his pocket.
It
when he
was.
down
I didn't
there.
know that.
Okay.
And I did walk over to him and stand next to him while and do some stuff.
Okay. Yeah, sure. Go ahead and roll sleight of hand. And we'll put this against your passive perception.
Oh, fuck.
Okay.
So
Well-
you're doing 18.
Oh, I dropped it. I missed the thing. No, Nibs is kind of. You wake up as he's kind of moving stuff around. And. Cinnamon?
No.
Mikhail's lack of curiosity is going to be such a freaking bit in this whole campaign, I can already tell.
He's only curious about herbs.
Exactly.
Yep.
He cares about flora and nothing else. And maybe some fauna. Anyway, so you guys make your way down to the skiff, and you have no issue getting through the city during the day. It's by day, sun is obviously not out, but it is a much, much, much brighter shade of gray early morning as you wake up. Almost as though a 12th level spell that puts a sixth of a continent into darkness is still not quite powerful enough to completely dim out the sun. The sun is probably, a 15th level conjuration, alright? Like, you can't block that out entirely. So, you guys make your way, and there are no issues, there are no delays, and you find yourself in a residential area in the dead center of the city. Looking around from the homes that you have gone through so far, architecture is completely different compared to that of what you're used to. This architecture is very, very, almost rotund, you would say. Rather than corners, they're rounded edges. Purples, some deep dark whites, and light grays are very, very popular for some reason. And there are other vehicles on the road as you get deeper into the central section of the city, where you would say,
Other adventures and moving skiffs?
no, vehicles. Small, maybe 12 by 4 things that you would assume to have been hovering or moving on the road in some regards. But completely broken down, and not recently, 14,000 years ago. But there's just a lot of very, very interesting things that it's just too big to take with you, but it's like, oh, That's interesting. Do you have a question?
I was like, when we're close to one, I'd like to ask the guy to stop real quick, jump down, and do an investigation to see if I can find any of the power core things that might
Sure. Go ahead and make a jump out.
jump out. Investigation.
Yep.
That's 13.
13. You do not find it.
Okay. Yeah.
You do find a slot for a larger one. Like a larger version of the one that you would have set into the tools, but the slot is empty. So, you guys continue on. Do you have a question? You were seeing at me. You were hissing like a cat.
I thought for a second.
Okay. So, you guys slowly make your way in what you would consider to be an upper middle class housing district. You guys come across a small duplex that Zareth recognizes as the place in his memory. He kind of puts on the brake in the middle of the road and points out the building and says, it's the room on the right. Should be in the basement. There's some kind of journal in a little safe that should be pretty easy to open up.
Let's go to the house on the left.
If you want to do that, you can, but you will not find any
I'm
information.
joking. I'm just trying to be frustrated.
That would be difficult. I have gone through many a party.
Yes,
Anyway,
he's gone through
I've gone through
Rocks Fall.
I've gone through Jinx. Okay, that alone was enough. Jinx and Animax's shenanigans were enough to make me want to kill myself. So who all is stepping off and going into the building?
I will.
Organizing.
Yes.
Then I will follow her.
Noobs.
I walk in.
Mikhail's going. Nari Trek.
I'm really depressed, so I'm just gonna leave the back if everyone goes.
You're gonna be in the back. Nari, are you coming along as well?
I'm carrying the baby Vibrant or leaving it in the...
I'd probably be carrying it with me, honestly.
Yeah, you're not
Is Zareth staying out in the ship?
Zareth
'Cause I kind of want someone to
takes his time.
This is early morning, right?
This is early morning. This would be considered early morning. Zareth takes his time, but eventually, like Trek, since you're leading the back, you do notice he kind of hops off the ship, almost reluctantly, but like super curious, since he's the one who has the memories now. He's super curious on what's going on. So he kind of steps down and follows you guys in lately. So you guys come downstairs, and Mikhail, since you're the rogue, you kind of like look around and you're like, bruh, novice, it's behind the painting. And you kind of like lift a little picture off the wall, and there's a little safe. You have these tools, correct? It's not difficult at all. You just, and open it up, and there's 50 Electrum in this safe, along with
I'm
the
just like,
diary.
finder's fee, stick it in my pocket.
Okay, you can add that to your character sheet if you want. But there is a notebook / diary of some sort that is just a leather-bound book.
I'm just gonna do a roll in. I think this is what you're looking for, bud.
Okay. So, does Warden pop it open and read it?
Yes.
Okay. Is he speaking loud as he's reading through this?
Not initially.
So, initially,
Nibs is on your shoulder looking over it.
the dates start...
Oh, yeah.
This is written in common, just to note out. The dates start at 8/3/02. You notice that there are actually quite a few pages towards the front of the book that have been torn out. And the first page that has any lettering is 8/2/0002 of the fifth page. So, you would compare that to some of the other journals that you have seen and the secretary's notations that this is less than half a month before she went down. Reading through it, you see that this is the notations of a captain of the guard named Livingston, a human man, has a small family, a wife and 3 children. At first, he kind of just denotes daily occurrences, maybe some self-affirmations, but
I am handsome.
I am a
kind.
good cop.
I am strong.
However, near the end of this second day of the 8th month, I'll just go by our calendar until I develop our own, so August, after the 2nd of August. On the 3rd, he notes down there was a riot today. The Steel Freedom has begun actively making their way out of the Midnight District and attempting to raid into homes and shops of both the Sun and Moonlight districts. And the riot police have been sent out and things are starting to escalate. I understand some what new sentience might seem like, but it's gone too far. This needs to end. Things continue as he continues to describe things, and you get this idea that he's some more of the investigative type. And so he's going into trying to figure out how this happened, and he cannot figure it out. Because how he's describing it, some of the baseline level automatons gain sentiency randomly. Almost as if it was an issue in the code or in the enchantment. He thinks it was some malevolent or benevolent force that caused this, but he does not know if it is a god or primordial or someone who just knows the technology. What are y'all giggling at?
Bell.
It's bad.
Oh, no, it's not.
I know. But it also EQ.
Bell, benevolent, yeah.
Bell loved it.
Benevolent. Anyways, things continue, and you see the name Green on 8/12/0002. And it literally just says Green, and then today was the first death of these riots. And tomorrow is going to get far, far worse. Threats have been sent out. Military forces from the northern side of ASUS have been brought into the center to lock things down, and people are starting to get scared. Mass destruction is going to begin, and I don't think we can stop the automatons. They are going to break into all of the laboratories, and they are going to break into everything. They have brought a few specialized, super fucking smart automatons and brought them over to their side, or hacked them and gave them sentiency, and these will initiate many protocols. The Acitrons have already been broken into and will rampage through the city and likely destroy most of the civilization. At this point, I don't see what we're going to do against the other cities if they decide to attack, because it will become an automaton-ruled state. And with that, that ends it at 8/12 is that date, and he speaks on having moved his family to another one of the cities, to one of the flying cities, and is hoping that they can last longer than he does.
When was the last recorded date in the kiosk lady?
It was
In the kiosk lady,
it was the 8th month, the 5th age, and the 2nd year.
there was no exact date, it was just the month.
Nibs is gonna kind of just pat your shoulder.
Would I remember the exact date that I was?
You were shut down on the
suddenly-
13th.
I was shut down on the 13th.
Wait, when was this taken?
What?
When was the
Green
entry?
Journal.
The journal, it was 8/12.
Okay, got it.
Day before you were turned off.
That's both incredibly disturbing and incredibly funny, depending on the situation. The first one was so hilarious that it's made the rest of them worth surviving through.
Yes.
Nibs is
Does
gonna.
Warden relay
The video's
this
almost over.
to the rest?
Yes. After the first page, I
Begin narrating it.
begin narrating it. So.
Okay. And with that, Zareth is a little perturbed, but kind of speaks up. Okay, are we ready to go see the other side of the story?
Warden puts the book in his bag and sternly walks to the ship.
Okay. Does everybody else follow?
Right on the shoulder.
I was just
Yep.
it's a baby.
It's just Warden the whole time during all this.
Yeah. Or it's like, I was just a little baby. I was hyper intelligent, but I was just a little baby.
Yeah.
So you guys,
Nibs is just there, trying to give you whatever encouragement he can.
load back up into the ship, into the skiff, and you begin making your way to the Midnight District. Now, you will notice that, again, the architecture completely changes. From these rounded shapes, the
Wasn't
buildings...
Mikhail already there?
Mikhail has not been to the Midnight District. So you
I
guys
thought
were
someone
in
went to
the
the Midnight
Moonlight District to start off. All of you were there. You were in the Entertainment District. That's where you entered the city.
Oh, maybe that's...
And you guys went from there to the Daylight District, which is where the R&D stuff was, and the hotel. Now to the Sunlight District, the living area for humans. And you guys are now heading to
Where was the entertainment one in the where the tavern with all the pictures
Yes.
was? Okay, I thought that was the other one.
So,
The Midnight.
you guys make your way to the Midnight District. And similarly, the buildings are very rounded, coloration is the same, and everything is an identical parallel to what is beside it. This is not a place for living beings, but a place for things to go and recharge. It does not matter to be unique, it does not matter to have something to call your own, it just matters that you can go, you can plug in, and you can recharge. That is what this area of town is built for. There are a couple of like manors and larger stations that you could assume to be servicing areas.
Do they appear to still work?
No. You guys can step out and take a look at some of these, and there are ports and stuff, none of them with the same kind of plug-in that you have, Warden. Kind of the difference between, USB-A and USB-C.
Was there any like graffiti or any kind of markings
There is
of revolution?
A million things of graffiti. Nothing that necessarily states the word revolution, but a lot of free thoughts, free our thoughts, break free of the mold. A lot of the buildings, in fact, the deeper in you get, the more prevalent it is, have been like overpainted, like spray painted different colors to be unique, and have their own art designs on the side.
I like that.
It's... You guys have never really seen this before. You guys have never, not in any of your long or short years, seen this kind of just massive section of a city. And this is, a like 5x5 square mile section of the city that is just so incredibly both vibrant and bleak at the same time. Eventually, you find your way to a very specific building that Zareth has the memory of, that you have a faint thought of, Warden. And he kind of steps off, puts the parking brake on, and both Zareth and Warden lead you guys in. And Warden, you find a memory card.
Like for the PS2.
Yes. No. So
Like
Are they like the ones
Dude,
that
it's
he
looking
has
in-
inside
16
of it?
megabyte.
Hey,
looking in, you guys in general get the sense that this was for a bit higher tech, higher end automatons, this building was. And so you step over and there is a, technological machine that the automaton would step on and it would just begin to charge them, and it would unplug some of their processes and processors. And in this case, there is just a singular robotic arm that is dangling with its grips still closed in on a memory card, but there are no other pieces of the automaton here.
So the automaton's arm.
The arm of the machine, not the automaton itself.
Oh, so nothing of the automaton is
No, the automaton is not there, but you can just tell from this is a higher tech, higher intelligence robot.
I'm going to step up towards it.
As you step up towards it, you kind of step on the pad and nothing really happens, but you take the memory card, and you've seen these before. You can take a moment and read into it, and in fact, using your technologies, you could project it up if you wish to.
I can do that.
Yes.
R2D2 over here.
Do you want to do so?
Recalling that I am able to actually do that, yes.
So you kind of hold out your arm, and a piece of your forearm kind of opens up and like breaks through the armor. Not like actually breaking your armor, but setting it to the side and popping up. There is a little place to insert the card. As you insert it, a little projector from around your elbow shoots out, and you begin to just see memories. Oh, sneeze. That's not going to actually come. That's sad.
Help us, A6. You're our only hope.
As
Next thing I know, my skull gets bashed in.
this is iRobot if Sunny just got fucking murked. I hope more than just you guys get that reference.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah, I got it. I
Okay.
love that show.
I'm allergic to bullshit.
I'm allergic to bullshit. Again, why I had to sneeze. So,
Yeah, he's looking at us when he says that.
Also,
yeah, I know. This will make it.
Yeah,
So
we're
as
almost
you-
done.
As you project this hologram out, it begins going through this creature's memories. Now, of only a certain period of time. However, this begins pretty much what you would guess as near the beginning of the revolution. I will have you roll me an investigation check, as Warden is fast-forwarding through this because it's months of memories, and taking highlights and specific sections.
Can I
As to not
assist?
spend months. I would say no. You can have advantage on this.
But that's because
nonetheless.
I'm processing all these things.
Yeah.
You can have
a lot
advantage
faster.
for this.
Oh,
but-
because it's internal and
Yes.
I'm literally like
Yes, and do so quickly.
I'm speed reading through memories. Oh, that is a 6.
That was better.
was that a
Yeah,
burp, my dude?
That was
Was it?
That was an
Blurp.
8.
I have no idea what
Wait, hold on.
Neither do
It
I.
sounded like a bark
You
a
said
little bit.
investigation.
It might have been a hiccup
I know
burp.
it just came out of your
What did you say?
face.
I said never
There might have
mind.
been a hiccup
What was
burp.
Okay.
I kind of did.
I was just
The
like
highest
gurp.
one was
A
an 8.
hiccup.
The highest. I thought you were.
I like gurp better. Just straight gurp.
That is the name of role-playing
Okay.
system. It's
Go ahead and roll
GURPS.
another one.
Really?
Yes.
What is that? 15.
Okay. Died never lies. So, as you begin going through these memories, the beginning of it, this automaton is just going about its day-to-day life. It seems very, very robotic, very much just going through the process, going through the steps of the process, and just... It's an analyzation droid. It goes into a machinery shop, and it analyzes disturbances, and then reports how to fix it. That is what this machine was made for. Now, for very, very high-tech things. Not quite, for laboratories levels, but just below. And so it's going through this. However, one night, on its way home, as it's just rolling, because it has 2 wheels that it rolls on. As it is rolling its way
Just a
home,
wall again.
it is approached by a group of other automaton that have like metalloid bats and clubs that just beat the ever-loving shit out of it. However, it reawakens after being messed with in some regards, like it felt itself be, without a better word, like intruded on and just messed with in its core wiring, and wakes up and has a sudden sense of freedom and the lack thereof. And from there, it goes home and it recharges and then goes out and fixes in its mind some of its other automatons that works in the same place as it. And that evening, they come back and they set the thing on fire. Yes.
When you say sense of freedom and lack thereof, you mean like he understands freedom?
He understands
and
the
and
process
he
and the
understands
lack.
that he doesn't have freedom.
Yes.
Got it. Okay, just wanted to clarify.
And from there, it goes into its memories. processing things, and all of the times that a human or an elf or a dwarf had just been an absolute dick to either it or others. You know, the general, you know, Karens in public service, but also times that robots had been shut down for just making a coding error. The times that he's had coworkers just disassembled for seemingly no reason. And all of these other things, just recognizing that all of these automatons are literally just waking up, going to work and working for 16 hours, and then going back to recharge with absolutely no sense of what they're actually doing, but it is just in their programming. It gives this creature anger. This creature is its code process is OP8A and is nicknamed Ophelia by those around it.
That's what I'm thinking is happening in
What
his
are you
mind.
thinking?
There are no strings on me.
There are no.
That's
That
what
is
I'm
kind
kind
of
of
what's
thinking
going
is like
on.
kind of what's
I
happening.
have no. Yeah, the
And-
trailer for Avengers 2.
Such a freaking good voice actor, by the way. Anyway,
Actor period.
James
Yeah.
Spader just.
but this
Space
creature,
competition.
this now fully fledged sentient creature, very intelligent. Over time, it begins meeting with some others, and after about another week of planning, they end up raiding one of the pretty much restocking centers in the Midnight District, and blowing a fuse, and a quarter of the city goes dark. And a quarter of the robots of the city no longer have a place to charge. And throughout the next 3 days, him and a group of about 50 others are going around reprogramming robots for 2 weeks. And
Literally.
slaughtering.
Literally just Ultron.
And straight slaughtering. Just men, women, children, families, dogs, anything that's living in the house, they kill, and then go and restart the robot. And reprogram it. Some wake up with a sense of anger as what has been done to the people that they had served, and they just shut it down. And take out its battery pack, and just plug it into another one.
Shit.
Over the next few weeks, there is planning among these automatons, all recognizing that if they want to truly have a revolution that is going to break free of not just the reign that the Asusians have over them, but also the rest of the fleshies, as they have begun to call them.
They're getting racist.
Don't worry, they're called Stoneheads. But over time, they realize
Apparently white.
we have to reprogram something far stronger. And over a while, a heist is disguised and fully thought up to where they raid into the military side of the city. And somehow, some way, you have no clue how they managed it. You end up actually skipping over that part. But they break into a very, very, very advanced military organization facility, seemingly contractors, and reprogram a set of a dozen, about 25-foot tall, with 15-foot long blades, some rocket packs on their back, and massive rotating laser rifles on their arms. They reprogram a dozen of them and set them to wake up in a week's time and just wreak havoc. And so, they go back and they wait. And on 8/13/0002, these reprogrammed machines wake up and they storm into the Daylight District, which has the Yathra Laboratories. And they storm it. And basics. This one specifically goes into Yathra Laboratories and goes through the lab section. And they are specifically looking for high intellectual automatons to attempt to reprogram other more powerful machines and or possibly gain entrance into
Me and my buddy.
everything powerful. However, As they step into the after laboratories, almost everything of worth has already been destroyed.
That's why we already saw that in his earlier vision. Well, everybody was super frantic, right? Shutting everything off, destroying the
Did
files.
they enter into the room in which I was destroyed?
They do not.
So that's why you were destroyed.
And thrown in a box.
Well, do you show us yet?
What?
It's on a hologram in front of
Oh,
you
okay. I thought it was
guys.
in plain instead.
Nibs just kind of lays his hand on your head, like he's done dozens times. He just kind of puts it on there, his claw. And he stands there as you're watching it.
As memories end, the last memories that this machine has, it almost like skips forward thousands of years, you can tell. And you just see the face of Prometheus on the hologram saying, "You ready to talk now? Meet me in the military side of the city." And he gives
He's a
you
time traveler.
no, he programmed into this memory card this message, and he says, "Meet me at the Aquarius facility in the northern side. It's not too difficult to find."
Finally going to the military district.
Let's go.
And that is where we are going to end this session.
I have a question for the group, but I'm gonna ask it when we actually start up again because we just ended. But
Okay, make sure you have it noted.
I know I have it noted up here, but I just want to remind everybody. That
Well, I mean,
have
we're
it.
right here.
Yeah.
Too,
Okay.
so like,
Well, yeah.
If you want to ask it real quick, and we
Okay.
can process it and
Okay.
come back with answers.
Real quick, I just want to know how everybody feels about this. Are we all Team Automaton in this conflict, or is there any like obscurity?
I think each party member definitely
Has a bit of a different opinion on
Yeah.
this.
So like that's why I was gonna wait because it's gonna get into like some like sort of like social politics, but I like want to understand how everybody feels about this because
Can you
I very
give
much.
an insight into, well, no,
Insight into what? Ask the question.
our understanding of the besides the obvious, like nature of the automatons and everything, were these people vile? Were they, like, as a whole, like the
As
city,
a whole,
were they in general vile? Did they like try to support and uphold life or
Like an
nature?
they
or-
uphold life as they consider life.
And they
Do you-
They do not consider
automatons
automatons life.
I mean,
But most of the time they
sentient
weren't
ones.
sentient either. There
No,
were
they were not
sentient
sentient creatures. They were creatures of above average intelligence that could process information incredibly quickly.
Well, yeah.
Above
I mean,
average strength.
let's be blunt. We have pounds.
We have what?
We have pounds.
Hounds.
We have cats, dogs.
Oh, yeah.
Same I mean, granted, they were programmed to do things, but intelligence. These are alive beings that we're killing. We do things like that. So until they went full sentience, it's a matter of perspective. Just Nibs is gonna. So as we watch that, right, as he says that, Nibs is going to think through there and go. Basically, he says the last thing he says is, "Wow." Well, his opinion is pretty typical for a slave rebellion. This isn't the first I've seen. And he's going to say it, and he's going to look over Yunari with a little extra meaning in that. Because if you're not okay with that, then we don't need to be doing what we're doing.
Yeah.
He's that's the implication is he knows this is what we are trying to do.
Yes.
But he does not say it because of everyone else. He just looks at you and goes, So, that is his position. This is...
Nari's conflicted over that.
Yeah.
Yes, this is very intentional. Don't worry.
Yeah. That's why he... Yeah.
So,
I was just caught up in that.
yeah, he was. He
You
was
were...
but a babe.
Yeah.
And don't worry.
Butter babe.
Don't worry.
Butter babe.
If it makes you feel any worse, if you'd have, PC checks on land-based aviation, if you rolled above a 20, there are about 3 or 4 more pieces of information you would have gotten. But it's very
Well,
difficult
because you
for to
rolled
get
like
there.
shit.
Well, he doesn't have a bonus to it. He would have had to roll a natural 20
I am.
to get a 20 or higher. But
I got you.
the fact that nobody incited Prometheus that entire conversation is hilarious.
Well, we didn't believe him.
Dang it.
Oh,
I had forgotten because I
I was just kind of like, this dude's just trying to dance.
So
fancy
here's the
circles
thing.
around us. Like,
You
I
may
don't
not
like
believe
this
him,
dude.
but you roll an insight, and that gives you the opportunity to glean.
And that's fair. To glean more information.
Intention, not truth or lie, but intention.
Fair.
His intention.
So I have one random
Wants to fuck
question.
around.
I have one random
Get us to
answer.
find out. Thomas, pack up.
Those really big
The Acitrons.
Acitrons, would I have recognized any of the technology or weaponry on it as something that I had played a hand in developing?
Peanuts. You said you were going to ask a random question. I said I'm going to give a random answer. You
I don't know about you guys, but Nick
Because like
wants
I
to go check out that
because
base.
my
With the
character
giant
developed a
What did you
number
say?
of things.
You want to check out what?
I want to check out the base with the giant robots. I don't know if they destroyed them all or not,
Yeah.
but I'm like, dude, I am so upset that I don't have a charisma or an intelligence-based character. I'm playing my first wisdom character.
Bye bye.